recap and jump right into everything. Yeehaw. Thinking about it. Okay. See one. There we go. Okay. Alright, recording is live. Let's get started with a little recap here. Starters, Bree, aka Elodia, is not going to be with us this week. She is feeling under the weather. I am also fighting my own health issues, but as you see, we are here and we are going to be gaming. With that said, last session, you all were at the Jungle Temple, where your party allies, Therius and Mordecai, bid you all farewell. They had their own endeavors, their own drives, and personal missions that they wanted to attend to. Some of them needed to rethink certain situations, as times have indeed changed. Oh, have they have changed. But with parting friends comes an opening for new friends and allies. As such, Newt had brought into your company two new allies, Faith and Nyx, who have joined your group to undergo the mission that Newt has for delivering Ivy to the Nymph's Rest in Aurora. No time has been given on this, but you do feel that there is urgency on that, but you still have you still want to get your feelings out there, trying to see what's going on. They open a portal for you, and you are taken to Weldon. It is here, when you arrive in Weldon, that you see a vision, a warning from the Arch-Heretic, demanding that the citizens of Weldon not hide, but deliver the being known as Caleb Coldwin, and to show that they are not safe from his reach. He demonstrated some of his power, destroying some of the city wall with opening a fissure underneath the city of Weldon. Citizens were quite concerned about what has happened there, but through the chaos, y'all returned to the city singing of Barth's return, drawing much attention to yourselves. You do make your way through Weldon to Dragon's Village, more specifically to the Temple of the Wonderbringer. It is here that you met an acolyte named Nicholas, and you asked to speak to Vera, the half-dragon, to help restore Menhir's stone hand. Calling in favors, they agreed to help, but they needed to pull in somebody a little more skilled to restore the hand of poor Menhir. While they are doing their due diligence, you met with a strange little gnome named Nigel Devereaux Fontaine Janssen III, though some of the locals called him Sparky. You found he had a merchant ship docked in the harbor of Weldon, and he was traveling through the coast just selling his wares and just trying to make a living for himself. Things have indeed changed since the Battle of Aurora. Checking on your residence in the Birdsong Alley, you find that your once known inn, the Dragon's Flower Inn, had been taken over, rather hostile takeover, by a gnome entrepreneur. The business is doing quite well, and for the most part has been keeping up all the special communal requests that you've established with the business, such as the communal bakeries, the pastry deliveries for the orphanages, and other bits of charity. Trying to get a little more information on what has happened, you go over to the Busty Jester, the side venture that you also had invested in. It was there that you met the gnome owner, a Prince Davitt, who was having a private meeting and discourse with a known bounty hunter and private eye known as Logan Blade. Prince Davitt, Willow recognized as being one of the members of the Concordant, specifically the Paragon Industries house. Having a meeting with Prince Davitt, you agreed to sell the shares to the Busty Jester and most of your shares of DFYY for the business location and partial control to Paragon Industries. During this business negotiations, Nyx pickpocketed Prince Davitt and managed to grab a rather magical memento, which he gave to Faith. After this, you all decided to discuss what to do while waiting for the funds to clear, as you were going to sign over the shares in front of a magistrate, and really just see what the world takes next for you. And that's where we're going to pick off today. Now, we just did all the downtime, make sure there's no side complications to kick off, make sure everybody kind of understood what they wanted and got the results of that. So we're not going to delve too much into the specifics of the downtime, but everybody did take at least a week of downtime. So, during this week of downtime, one of the more important things that had happened is Vera had made good on her promise. She pulled in a much higher cleric of the Wonderbringer, who this wise sage is an elderly human, just got kind of gold spectacles, dressed in simple light blue robes. He was the one that actually conducted the spell that restored your hand, Menhir. And once he did, the stone just kind of broke off into almost like a thin plaster. You're able to kind of flex your hand again, and for a few minutes it was kind of stiff, but then the blood was returning to it. You had the nice little pins and needles in it for a few minutes, but everything was working good. You were able to pick up your maul again, and almost in a course of celebration, you jumped into some pit fighting, and you got to bash a few skulls in and made a little bit of coin for yourself in the process.
Indeed, sir.
So, that is the one of the main things that happened during the downtime. The other is the money that you all received as you were taken to a magistrate. Contracts were driven up. You've reviewed them. None of the wording or anything has changed since what you discussed. Prince Davitt signs his name onto the contracts, and I assume, since you've taken the money, that nobody is refused to sign the contracts. Once that is done, the magistrate also signs their name on the contract, puts their seal upon it. The city has their own copy of the contract, as you are all given copies yourselves. And Prince Davitt pays for the fees to the magistrate, and he just kind of rolls it up, puts it into this nice little golden scroll tube that he has on his hip, and just smiles and does almost a little dab. Thank you. It's nice to see people with level-headed business ventures. There's hope for this city yet. Well, I have much things to do now that there's not much stopping me and what we needed to do now. I bid you goodwill, and have a good day.
I pickpocket him again.
I have a question.
You're going to do that in the magistrate?
I'm kidding.
What was the 30 that he got last time? He might be able to.
Right, and if he gets
Yeah.
caught in the magistrate's
Oh, yeah,
office
it's the end.
pickpocketing,
It's the end.
that's instant jail time. Why is Discord and Roll20
Yeah,
messing up?
I have a question.
What's up?
Who got Boggle's share of the profits? Because he left all his possessions to Elodia. Or, because Miner's not getting anything from the sale of the deal.
Well, I mean, the group might just put it in a group fund for everybody to simplify it. Looks like we lost Comey and Celica.
Oh, from Roll20?
Yeah.
Are y'all kicked out?
Sounds like they're dead.
Damn. Well, I think men here like knocked him out and is taking their portions of the money.
Comey
Apparently
says the
they're-
internet crashed.
Miner what? You think Miner what?
Menhir knocked them out and is taking their portions of the profits.
That works for me.
His hand's
Nice.
working, just pop.
Yeah, just pop him upside the head real quick.
I pictured kind of like you'd see so many times in either the cartoons or the cheesy 80s action movies where you just take two of the henchmen's heads and just conk them together and they pass out. I just picture Faith
Yes,
and Willow's
sir.
head just smashing and then, they pass out.
That would be funny.
So we'll give them a minute or so to try to come back. While we're waiting for them to come back, though, where would y'all be discussing the next foot of your venture?
I don't know. I hmm. Barth and Willow are the only old school members of the group, so Nix would want to hear from them at least.
I also hate to say it, but that's mostly Comey's thing. I'm not really too involved in it, so
Out of character, I know it's been mentioned that we should go to the keep.
Well, yeah, that's something that y'all were tinkering with. I'm just meant like while you're in Reldon right now, like where are y'all hanging out at?
Isn't there a tavern or something?
There are tons of taverns.
We could probably hang out at Bananas.
The Drunken Jester.
Yeah.
It's where they had the. It's probably where Menhir had his little impromptu fighting because that's where they set up the indoor like boxing ring where they actually had the fights. That's where poor Mordecai got mauled by a bear.
And the rest of the party.
Yeah, got his throat cut, got suplexed. I think there was a flaming object involved. Poor Mordecai just got manhandled in that fight.
Sharp things were put inside of him.
Yep, and none of it fun.
Okay, internet's back.
Sure about that?
Oh no, I finally have gone crazy. The voices, man.
Yeah, we're just discussing where your group is at. We're kind of waiting for you and Celica to pop back. It's all good. So the group is so far has kind of said that everybody's convening at the Drunken Jester, the little curvy, fiery, red-headed dwarven woman's place that you once helped a long, long time ago, where you fought a troll, where you had participated in viciously mauling Mordecai in a public fighting arena.
Oh, the good old days.
Yep. Maiming party members for fun and profit. I see Celica's in roll 20. Celica, are you back on voice chat?
I am. I'm gonna have to restart my computer because something I was running in the background on my second monitor, which is the main monitor. Never mind, it finally crashed. Don't have to restart my computer now. My game just had a massive hernia that I had in the background for resource grinding.
Alrighty. With that, so you've been paid. Question was brought up, like, you know, who gets what from the profits. Considering that some of the characters who we once invested
Yep.
are no longer with the group,
Exactly.
I threw out the suggestion that it would be a party fund regardless, but that's not my funds. That is your funds as a group. So what's the consensus on that?
Oh, the money from the sale?
Yep.
I'm all for even divvying.
Well, I think the
Now
question
that's
was,
fucking generosity.
yeah, I think-
Consider an investment into your potential future around. But Grandma, come over here real close.
Eh?
If you do what Hal did and leave super soon after I give you all this stuff, I'll come to collect it. And if you don't have it, I'll collect it. Okay?
she, I don't think she quite understands.
Does a 26 beat Willow's passive perception?
Okay. And you
And
thought
that one beats my passive perception. Actually, no. You need a 2. I'm sorry.
So I pick Willow's pocket off of her, and then hand whatever I pickpocketed back to her. Like, okay, there you go.
I'm going to be watching you.
you're not sure how she did it, but she just pickpocketed the Greaves off of you.
I'm going to be watching you, Granny.
I have many fans.
I don't see any fans. Do you have them like in your pocket?
I have a lot of things in my pocket.
Right on that note, hey,
So
I've
what
yet-
is the split?
I think it was like 8,333.
A piece?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Minner's like, well, thank you. Good lord, I didn't even know this place was here, and I'm like a full partner. Dang.
Well, oh, like I told Grandma, consider it an investment indeed.
How
Give me a
much
break.
again?
Willa, you don't intimidate me. You're little.
Faith.
Barth, he's not being intimidated by me.
Man, here, trust me, it'll go a lot easier if you just humor her.
Okay, I'm scared.
Quest-
Sorry.
Yay!
So, question while this is all going on, and not only that, but during the course of the week, how are you handling Ivy?
House arrest, because she's too damn innocent for life.
It's okay. She'll come with me everywhere we go. Never out of my eyesight. Even when we go to bed, she's
Are
little
you trying to
spoon, so I
disguise
don't.
the fact that she is a dryad?
Are we disguising the fact that Willow is a dryad?
No, which is all the more important to know if Ivy is also being hidden or in plain sight.
My suggestion for house arrest is sincere because she's dumb and don't know anything.
Well, that's why we got to teach her.
I mean, I'm performing all day, so I mean, I could just kind of entertain her.
Yeah, I like that idea. Entertain her, and then when guys come and try to take advantage of her, you stab them in the kidney.
I feel like that's my job more.
Idea's the first guy that comes after Ivy to protect her from all the men that are going to come after Ivy.
You kill him?
Gias.
Oh, Gias. Okay, sweet. Yeah, it's awesome. You make her first predator into her protector.
Yeah. A follower of Newt has Gias. We're all doing great right now.
No, it's trouble. Stay the fuck away from me. Stay the fuck away from me.
Well, Ivy's not more than 5 feet from Willow at any given point.
Must make going to the bathroom really awkward.
You know what? It might be awkward, but considering her last few attempts at keeping people safe have been pretty bad, we're working over.
How does Willow address that, like when Willow has to use the outhouse?
We're going on an adventure to the magical kingdom.
So, but all right. So from what y'all have mentioned, you're not really hiding her. So, yeah, you have even more attention being brought to yourselves in Reldon. Not only for the fact that you have one dryad, but two of these seemingly mythical fey creatures that not only are gorgeous, but, you know, nobody's ever seen anything like this before, so they're just like, oh my god. And then there's Barth on top of it. The hero of Reldon, where bards still sing his tales throughout Reldon.
And for some reason, there has been a massive resurgence of these songs.
Yeah, quite a few
Even
new
someone
songs.
preaching about his name.
More tales, a lot more made-up tales have been sung about Barth. All kinds of folk hero songs. Also,
He beat up a group of owlbears with a double-headed dildo.
and he was only 3 years old.
Oh god.
Yeah. Who even knows how that 3-year-old got a dildo? But he did.
Listen, it's just called bad parenting from Dude, alright?
You know,
Excuse me, his Bert's parents were great.
they were loving. He sees them on the weekends and has a roast with them.
They taught him how to
And they're
fish,
pretend.
and they're not dead because Dave doesn't know anything about them, so we can't kill them.
Well, no, because
Oh.
Barth's, you know, trials and tribulations come from Barth and Newt, not really his extended family. So, unless he does something really stupid to put them in harm's way, they're pretty safe.
As long
That
as
doesn't
we
work for
don't
the
know-
songs, though.
Listen, as long as we don't know Barth's last name, they're protected.
Nope. See, according to the songs, Barth's mom and dad both died before he was even conceived.
Dear God, will y'all let it go?
What?
Let it go. Moving on. Good God Almighty.
Barth sprung from a puddle in the middle of a brothel.
Puddle of what? We don't want to know.
Unknown death.
Right. So,
Dad came along, beat off on a log, sat on the log, and here he comes.
That's exactly it.
Don't even know who the dad is.
Oh, wow.
Y'all are fucked up.
And when he was
So-
bored, he was like a miniature Barth, like not even a baby, just like a miniature, G.I. Joe action figure that just grew up into the full size Barth.
Yes.
Okay.
so Ivy, do you know why you're special? Did Mom ever tell you?
It's because you were adopted.
You get the feeling like she gets Faye talking to her every now and then. But for the most part, you're her main kind of source of conversation. And most of the questions she's kind of gotten out of her system over the past week, like all the simple things like, oh, what's this? And, the minor things that would get somebody in trouble has never really been in a city before. So you've managed to instill some basic common sense into her, but she still has questions about things. She's still enamored by certain magical effects that go about. She still has a tendency to attract trouble, not just from, bardic suitors, but mostly from her own endeavors. And you have instilled on her moderation so that she doesn't try to order everything and eat a little bit of everything. So you have been working on her manners, and she can actually socialize like a normal person now.
Question. What season is it currently?
So currently it is actually spring.
It's the time of the season.
All right. Well, it probably wouldn't be too difficult to pass them off as just elves at this point in time. Because dryads' appearance change depending on the season. Because they're trees.
That's racist.
Look, we don't talk about winter months, okay?
I'm just saying, it would be theoretically relatively fairly easy to pass them off as just elves instead of
Until like
dryads at this
woodpeckers and pine beetles start like swarming to them.
Yeah, well, just don't mention it.
It's not a question of mentioning it. It's just a question of the pests.
Druids.
Well, druids are a different problem altogether. So let's see. Let's actually switch to the terror music.
It's the time of the season. Boom, 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 when love runs high. And this time, give it to me easy. Boom, boom, boom. And let me try with pleasured hands. Take you in the sun to show you everyone. It's the. Oh, never mind. It's my bad, dudes. I'm old. That's the time of the season, by the way, if you didn't know that song.
Yeah,
It's
I was
old.
aware.
So, at some point, we need to get back to Aurora. Do you think they fixed the train yet?
So
Uh,
about that.
Never again, dude. They're never gonna fix the hell train. What the fuck's wrong?
Well, no, there's the train's been fixed for other things. Aurora's a
Why would-
war zone.
There's
There
no
is
way
active
they should've
fighting
fixed
going
the hell
on
train.
in Aurora. They have
Hey,
closed
Dave.
the city walls, trapping people in because it is so bad right now.
All right, gonna take a moment to do some gather information on what is happening to Aurora.
Hey, Dave.
Yo,
You never got me that list of places I've been. I guess now I just need to know if Aurora was one of them.
Post post resurgence, no. You've heard the stories from some people that were managed to get out before the gates were closed, before the walls were shut. But outside of that, once the walls were shut, you don't know anything other than what people have seen from afar, which has been just constant warfare.
Okay. You know why I'm asking though, right?
Yeah, I know for the spell.
Yeah, teleport.
I didn't want to ruin the surprise.
Was it a surprise?
It could have been for the rest of the group, but now you ruined it.
But we all know that he has a rampant addiction to teleport.
Teleport
Yeah,
is great.
This is true.
Teleport is a pretty amazing spell.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
probably teleport us there.
Well, part of the problem is, do we want to teleport straight into a war?
Sound like fun to me.
Shrug.
Be a lot of motherfucking heads to crush, and that's one of my favorite things. It's probably third on my list of favorite things to do.
Well, it more depends on where we land when we teleport there. It might be a smarter idea to teleport somewhere closer by.
So y'all want to teleport straight into Aurora?
Before we teleport straight into Aurora, I would like to gather information on the competing Warzone factions and what nobility is still left in Aurora.
Okay. So, where are you going to go to try to pull that information?
I think it's time to go wander around the Noble's Court. Hey, Bob, you were like friends with the princess, right?
I mean, I received an invitation to a banquet that was in my honor that we never went to because other things happened. So, I mean, I don't know how. I don't know how well they would have taken being stood up like that.
It's fine. We'll just use a couple of the verses of the song to explain where. Or better yet, we'll put out feelers ahead of time before knocking on.
That sounds severely uncharacteristic of you, Willow. Are you okay? Do you have a fever?
I mean, growing up with the nobility was. My parents didn't let me off my very, very, very short leash. Sometimes literally.
Guys, Willow's being cautious. I don't know how to feel about this.
It's not her, it's a doppelganger. We should knock her over the head. We should club her and then question her. It's not her.
She does have a point, though.
Alright, well, if you want to... What do you propose we do then, Willow?
Yeah, Willow's freaking
I
out.
believe I'm asking
Minner
this.
creeps up behind her with his maul raised.
Well, I mean, I did make friends last time we were here. I could call on them and see if they could help us. I don't mean those friends. In fact, she starts looking very shifty around, like she can somehow see the mouths of madness around.
Considering the changes in leadership in that faction, um, you already know just how much more frightening they can be, especially considering who's leading them now. They were fanatical before. It's a whole new ball game now.
They were at least fractured before. I got a feeling they aren't so fractured anymore. So, yeah.
I need to get better weapons. Or an enchantment on my weapon. Something. Where do we go for that? Is there wizards around here in this town?
Well, I mean, there are lots of purveyors of magical goods. There are arcane colleges here. Noblemen do have their own
Anybody know anybody?
scholars on their payroll.
Anybody got any wizardly friends?
Willow and Barth both went to a floating ship in the harbor where they bought some magical items.
Do they tell me this, Dave, or does some mysterious
Don't know.
voice
Do
from the
they
sky
tell you this?
tell me all these cool facts?
All right. Yeah, I do know a guy. I mean, you could have bought from me, and I sell much better weapons.
Out of character, in character voice. Bullshit. You don't know what the hell I'm talking
She is a weaponsmith and has very
Yeah,
good.
So is Minier, but he can't enchant the shit.
She can. She's made magical weapons before.
How long is it gonna take? Well, you should have spent your week of downtime enchanting my ships, and I'll give you my share of the proceeds from the sale.
You could have gone and bought stuff during the downtime.
Yeah, well, dude, he said, "What am I gonna do? Get my hand buying stuff." That downtime activity is for getting specific items.
Okay, Dave
Right,
flat out
that's-
was allowed.
You know, like a magical weapon.
Right. Well,
Never
we'll
mind.
go
fuck
wander
it.
down.
I'm glad it's so amusing. Proceed. Disregard.
All right. I'll call my contact to make sure you can go talk to them.
Nick starts
Well-
following Willow.
And we'll go down to the harbor.
No need. We're not allowed to do that during the game time. Let's do something.
Oh, you're going to just a vendor. You're not using the Xanathar's carousing for a specific. You're just seeing if somebody has something in their inventory.
Yep.
So that I'll roll randomly to see if they
Nope.
actually have something in their inventory.
Yeah, I should have thought about it before. Since Willow can make magic items, maybe next time we have downtime, I'll ask her to use it to make my mold.
Okay. All right, so Willow, you're gonna reach out to one of your contacts. Is this one of your is this your most recent upper class contact or somebody else?
And she's going to reach back to the noble one she picked up during the 2 weeks of downtime back when we were first here. Yeah. Right after she got turned into a dryad.
Okay. And you didn't cash that in for an NPC that you met, correct?
No, wait, I did. Never mind. We'll have to go through the most recent.
We
I
need
forgot I
a
used
year.
I
We
forgot
need a
we
year
used
of
it to bail.
downtime for Willow to make something worth.
That's like all the downtime.
That's what I'm saying. It's like 50 work weeks for a legendary item, and anything less than that isn't.
Well, remember, there's also monetary costs and things like that in it too.
Oh yeah, I know. I do recall.
You can also reduce the time with additional help.
Stumble
But-
upon another. What is it? Githyanki Silver Sword. Sell that bitch for 500,000 fucking gold again. That'd be.
I forgot I cashed in all my things on Hal, so we'll have to use the most recent.
Okay, so the most recent contact then. Okay. Anything in particular you would like this contact to be tied to, or do you want it all to be a surprise?
Let's go with the full surprise.
Okay.
Willow was drunk. She doesn't quite remember who she met.
How does she reach out to her then?
Well, I mean, she, kind of remembered. She just needs a little bit of a reminder of who she...
All right. Well, once you recall who it is, how do you reach out to them?
Messenger.
Okay. And how do you want the meeting, what do you say, like, in the message? Like, just so I can get this NPC to you.
Oh, yes. It is my deepest honor to inform you that the great Both requires some assistance, and I remember how during our time we talked about this, and you were the first person I thought of. Would you be willing to spare but a few moments to hear some of his requests that we wish to route up to the king and the prince?
Okay, so you're not asking to meet her directly then, just to try to get a meeting with, use her to get a meeting with the king.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, unless she, has information on.
Nope. Just need to know what you're putting in there so we can kick this off. All right. So you send the messenger, and while that's being delivered and looked over by the NPC, about 2 days are going to pass before you get a response. During that time, y'all have a little bit of time to kill. So what do y'all want to do for the passing of the 2 days? Anything specific? Now, keep in mind, you're just kind of lounging around the Drunken Jester right now.
I
Actually, yeah.
have an idea. Let's go with Barth first. What is your...
Barth's going to hand the Scroll of Scrying to Willow, and he's going to see if she can locate Senosha.
Okie doke. Is scrying 4th or 5th?
The 5th level spell.
I'm gonna have to make a check then.
Take a bardic inspiration.
Bardic inspiration. Barth want a guidance, and I'll enhance
Yeah.
ability. And we'll throw everything we
No,
have at
you-
this.
You know what? You can also have an inspiration for me. Use my inspiration.
Well,
give
enhance
you a
ability gives
guidance.
it to me.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, have
Yeah.
guidance.
My bardic inspiration is a D10.
Okay. I need to make a charisma. Um,
Nyx is just leaning over your shoulder, playing Camptown races right in your ear with their viol.
well, apparently it's a pretty good tone and Bar's guidance of "Don't mess up, Willow. Don't mess up." And I presume when I'm casting this, I have something of Zenosha.
Yeah, you have Barth, her belonging.
Wow. I mean, I think she was more of a looking like, did she have like a favorite hairbrush or, you know, wrestling attire or
Use
monk
tampon.
prom?
Yeah, Barth just keeps her sweaty clothing, her laundry. Help her remember the day.
Right, I will scrounge around these sweaty pieces of clothing for, like hair. As I follow the how to cast crying guy.
I mean, yeah. Don't worry about it. I don't know. It's, you get a, they get a -5 on the save against if you're familiar with the target, and then they get a -4 if you have a possession of theirs.
Yep, and if I can find a hair, it's a -10 to do. That's assuming that in all of this, she doesn't want me to see her.
Correct.
All right. So, let me see. I'm just seeing the... So 10 feet of around her. That's what I was looking for. Okay. I mean, you see her. So what you see is little shocking. It's not fully what you expected, but doesn't surprise you that you see it at the same time. So what you see is Zenosha's in kind of simple combination of simple robes and bits of like not like leather armor, but just kind of leather survival gear, which looks like it's been kind of made, mended. The bits that you see, she is like covered in blood and gore. She's in middle of fighting something that is bigger than her from what you can see through the sensor. There's a large claw-like arm that's kind of goes into the sensor's range that you see her just kind of blocking the attack and, striking the appendage, trying to break some of the bone, and kicking at something else that's trying to like grab her from behind. And you see things like large bottles or vials of something kind of being tossed in her direction or dropped in her direction, because you see them kind of enter the sensor's range, and when she sees them, you see her just kind of backflip away from it as it just kind of shatters, and this gout of like flames just kind of rise up from when the vials were dropped at. And this like goes on, like you see her move away from whatever is attacking her, and you see her just kind of run, and it looks like she's almost going through some sort of diabolical, almost like obstacle course. Like there's hazards that she's like jumping over. Things are like shooting at her. Like you see like this large arrow that is basically like a 4-foot arrow, just kind of like launches at her, and she just kind of like ducks out the way before it can strike her. It hits the wall next to her, and she just kind of uses it to kind of vault over this pit of like looks like grinding gears and spikes. They're not clean either, so it looks like there was maybe other things that tried to get over this pit that didn't quite make the jump or the leap. But she used the arrow to kind of help facilitate her movement over it. And this goes on for the full 10 minutes, where you see her just like get ready to like punch something else that's like right at the sensor's range when it cuts off. Looks like she was in full rage too.
Willow will be giving a full radio announcer style run.
Play. It's the wild world of sports.
Barth, she's so lucky. That looked like fun.
Fuck. Can you tell? Do you have any idea where that is? 'Cause I just realized that Scry doesn't give you an exact location.
You know she's alive.
That's good at least.
I mean,
yeah.
demonic obstacle courses can't be.
Yeah,
And she's on the
it's
same
not
plane as you.
Well, would I recommend Barth? Add it to our list of questions for the king.
I'm sorry, what was that you cut out like halfway through that
Add it to our list of questions for the king.
I mean, that seemed okay. I'm not
Well,
entirely sure what he would know, but okay.
Well, if I had to make a guess, it seems like the kind of thing an old succubus friend of ours would probably do to get some revenge. So if we can figure out where the demons are, we probably have a decent idea where she is. At least the geographical relative area.
Right. Still don't really know why the king would know that, but okay.
I mean, he'd probably know where the demons are. It's one of the things you want to keep an eye on.
Fair enough, I guess.
Willa's gonna give Barth a hug. It's okay. It'll be okay.
So, what are we doing?
Well, I think I'm gonna spend the next couple days trying to get that image out of my. And then we'll go get the information, decide where we're gonna go from there.
Okay. Anybody else want to do anything during the 2 days before you get your reply back?
Next, we'll walk over to Minhir,
Mhm.
tap his arm.
Yeah.
big muscly man. Take me shopping.
You need an escort, lady? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Were you afraid people are gonna try to rob you or something?
No, I just want a big stack of muscles. Take me shopping.
You're not my type, ma'am. Just letting you know in advance. But I'll
That's
go.
what they all start saying.
You remember? I saw Yes Man a couple days ago. Remember that old lady who's his neighbor, and then she gives him the BJ without her teeth in and shit, and he's like, "Whoa, how are you doing that?"
Earmuffs, Ivy.
That shit makes me laugh. No,
We're gonna take a tour of any shop that may have high end or magical goods and see if we find anything interesting.
yeah, that's awesome. Maybe Nyx can steal them blind on my behalf.
Just take a tour of what's in current inventory, not looking for anything specific.
Well, if you're going to that, I might as well come with you. Make sure nothing bad. Make sure nothing bad happens.
Well, if
Now,
they're
you
gonna
say
do
what
that,
you really wanted to say, Bar. The second thing that almost came out of your mouth was, "Make sure y'all don't do anything bad."
I mean, I still remember what happened last time you went off on your own. We murdered an entire bar full of people.
Oh, when Minir left, yeah, I don't know what that is. Wherever he's not is where the insanity happens. That's just...
well, if you guys are gonna go do that, Faith is going to pull Willow to the side, remembering something that she heard while her and Mordecai were talking. Willow, I have a question for you. You've got access to a keep, correct?
Apparently.
May
I
I
don't
know
want
where
to
that
imagine the
is?
back taxes on that place.
I will handle that if there are any. Where is it?
And she'll scribble out directions.
Thank you. I believe that it might be very useful in our future endeavors to try and do something about everything that's going on. I'm going to see if I can pay people to go and see if the place has been occupied, much like a business that you guys used to have. And if that is the case, so that we can deal with it when we're done in Aurora. And she's going to give a small, very polite bow before she walks off to find people that she can pay to go to the keep to see if it's honestly being occupied by bandits, evil midget shopkeepers, kind of anything.
So, from where you're at and where the keep's at, sending somebody out there is going to take weeks. It is.
That
Yeah.
really sucks.
It's got to be an actual destination, in other words. And once we get
Well, no,
there,
I mean, the
maybe
keep is a destination. It's just for what is being asked to
that's what I'm
done, you'd be basically waiting in town for like at least a month to hear back from somebody.
Well, we can just go there, guys, and then teleportation circle from there to everywhere.
But it is an
else.
option.
Matter of
See,
fact, take
I-
our sweet time, let the world end, and then maybe we can, futz around in the aftermath.
Well, seeing as the world is already looking like it's trying to go towards that, is, two deities are kind of doing whatever the fuck they want to. Some crazy commander dude and demons are doing stuff.
Yeah, we can't stop it. It's just mortal arrogance to think that we can, stop that shit.
You gotta
We'll
have
still
faith.
make it, and yeah, gotta have faith. Gotta still make an attempt. Well, see, this kind of does put it down from what I was gonna do, because if there were no one there, I was gonna make it our base of operations and spend all my gold on that. We're gonna have to go there after Aurora. Anyone opposed to this?
Nope.
I don't.
Call it the land
I
of
want-
Marth.
I want to go to the keep pretty soon too.
Because as I said earlier, I kind of want to, in the words of the wise, Dragon Age Inquisition this bitch. But it's gonna take that long to send someone out there, we'll probably be there before.
Okay. Well, for those of you who are going shopping, so bringing men here to the same place that you've found so many magical goodies and deals at before, you bring them to the Dragon's Harbor, where there is indeed a slightly piecemeal metallic and wood ship. It has various moving parts on it, but the interesting bit about the ship is it's actually hovering over the water a few feet. It's not flying, really high in air, but it's not in the water either. It's almost like a hovercraft, just a few more feet in the air above the surface. But otherwise, it looks very similar to what you'd a standard sea vessel, and there are people going aboard the ship and walking around, and there's various workers on the ship just kind of helping people about. From what you can tell, there's various stalls up front, at the bottom. It is indeed a merchant vessel. Browsing some of the wares, the ones by the docks tend to have some of the more common knickknacks and things that some purveyors might want, like clothings from different lands, or various little bottled lotions and liquors and things like that. The more interesting things, the magical goods, as it were, those are aboard the ship, inside some of the more protected merchant stalls within. And that's where eventually you wander through, making your way through some of the crowded populace that's going to and fro on the deck. And going through the shop's wares, you do find a magical maul.
Hammer of Thunderbolts. Built to storm
That's
giant strength.
hammer or thunderbolts
I'm
is
just-
a hammer right in its name.
It is no, it's a maul though. Hammer of Thunderbolts is a maul. It says it in the description. It's the only
Right.
hammer that is maul size. It's a maul, dude.
That broke my brain a little.
But
Just look it up.
there is a maul. It is not. This is the maul that you find here, is a vicious maul. And the vicious maul is available for purchase from one of this very fidgety gnomish vendor that's just kind of, hey, yeah, if you want this maul here, could sell it to you for about 1,120 gold pieces.
900. And I'll play you a song. I'm gonna mix.
That'll be 1125 then.
Greetings, gnome. Name's Menir Sarson. Are you a Jansen, perhaps?
Me? No. I wish I was part of that genius family. Oh man, the money I could make off that. I'd have my own fleet of ships like this.
I've known many of them in my life. The Jansen. Matter of fact, one of them is why I'm here.
Oh, you lucky son of a gun!
Yeah, I think Jansen wouldn't have charged me more than 1,000 for that maul there. I once brought him a Gith Yankee sword. You ever heard?
I've
Silver sword, something like that.
I've heard of the Gith, but they're well, their social politics are, let's just say, a little bit to be desired. They have their own religious beliefs, and it gets really complicated. And I don't really want to get into their kind of stuff. We'll leave that for the planeswalkers, you know, all those crazy folk. I like to stay grounded here. We already got too many crazy people from other planes. You know what I mean? You know, it's already kind of a bit busybody just coming from Waflenia and all the crazy towns over there. But you know, since I came here, it's been really nice meeting all these wonderful people. You know, all these fanciful things. I heard about all these festivals, but since the war, they haven't done the festivals in a while. But I really want to see some of these. Hey, have you heard about the Festival of Lights? Have you seen that?
Menhir leaves. Tyrant. No, I'm just kidding.
He still Menhir leaves. He still talks for another 2 minutes.
I'm just kidding. Menhir stands there slowly as the guy keeps talking. He gives the Spock eyebrow, you know, like the raises one eyebrow up.
Fascinating.
I'm picking up and looking at all the other stuff he has.
It's like, dang, you talk a lot, little feller.
Talk, but
I'm
talking is kind of a lost art, you know what I mean? It's always nice to talk to somebody. You don't even get to talk to a lot of people about some common stuff.
You mentioned planeswalkers. I'm from another plane myself.
Nice to meet you.
Actually. That's a pretty nice looking mall for real, though. What is it made out of?
I mean, it's kind of a. I mean, it looks like it's made out of a sturdy steel. The maul itself, though, is a vicious maul. He goes into explaining a little bit of the weapon itself. Basically, if you were to critically wound your assailant with this, the magical properties of weapons makes that wound even more deadly. In game terms, basically, when you get a roll of 20 on your attack, they take extra 7 damage of the weapons type. So in this case, it would be extra 7 bludgeoning damage. But it is a magical maul.
Well, I know what a vicious maul is, Dave. I just wanted to know its materials. Basically, just fine steel is what it looks like, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's tempered, high quality steel. You need to have kind of high quality material base for magical items for the enchantments.
Well, that means I keep my own one then, because it's adamantine. So I just keep my own and get this. Yep, fuck it. Here you go. 1125. Because yeah.
Oh, well, for you, 1120 for you. For her, 1125.
Oh. What else you got?
I mean, that's the only maul that he has.
You got any books on how to get more muscly?
How to get more muscle?
I'm proud of my muscles. I want a bigger one.
Well, let's.
I think I've reached my peak without assistance.
All right. Well, let's.
I just found out that when you hold Alt and scroll your character sheet, it increases or decreases the font. That is highly annoying. Because Alt is my push to talk key.
Well, doesn't have any potions or lotions for that. While he's going through his stock there, he does have something that catches your eye, though.
Yes.
Hang on, I'm trying to get this to show the right thing here. It's a curious little trinket, a small little statuette of a beast that, you know, the little statue could fit easily in your pocket. However, looking at it, you instantly are reminded of Gorda, as it is a perfect little figurine of a little elephant, just kind of with one arm just kind of cocked at the knee, the head tilted back, the trunk kind of curved in that S-like shape that they do. The little tusks kind of protruding out to the sides. It's a wondrous little figurine.
Well, suddenly I'm struck by nostalgia and feel a little heartsick. Poor Gorda. I miss her. Wonder what happened to her.
Kind of hear like a elephant's trumpet in your head as you look at the little figurine.
I bet my friends took good care of her, though.
You definitely could think that.
Yep, yep.
It's totally what they would have done in character.
Definitely what happened.
Well, no, remember he let this version of
Yeah.
him was gone before her. She went.
Yeah.
So I'm playing the character, man. He would think y'all would take care of her. Well, how much for this? Surely it's just a knick-knack.
Oh,
It looks kind of nice.
Oh, no, sir. No. What you hold right there is a figurine of wondrous power. That
You're a dramatic little man, you know that?
I've been told that from time to time, but seriously, what you hold there, when you utter this special magical word, this small little marble figurine of this exotic creature, it becomes a life-size version of it for a whole day.
Is the name of the figure Gorda? Perhaps. 'Cause that would just be too weird. That'd be
It
like,
could be. I never asked. But I have tested. The creature is quite healthy that is summoned. Though once you summon it, you can't summon it again for 7 days.
that's too damn long. You got
I
7
didn't make
of these-
it.
You got 7 of these. You got 6 more in the back warehouse part.
I do not. That was
Okay, never mind then. How much for this one?
for this wonderful little figurine. I can sell you this part ways with it for 6,600 in gold pieces.
What? There's no way in hell I'm paying that much. I'm sorry. I'd rather have a real elephant. Sure, they sell them around here somewhere.
Good luck finding it, my friend. Now,
That's too damn much.
Now he does have some regular potions of healing, the ones from like the player's handbook. So if you want to buy a few of those, you can from him.
Hell yeah! How much?
50 gold for those, but I'm just seeing how many he actually has on stock.
Just the regular ones?
Yeah, from the player's handbook.
Hey man, 2d4 plus 2 is better than 0.
didn't
when
do what I
you're
wanted it to do.
trying to stabilize the dying.
Let me try this again here. Because I didn't roll like the quantity of dice that I wanted. Give me a sec. Much better. Now I have to manually type it in for some reason. Okay, so he has 4 of those potions.
I'll buy them all.
Okay, that'd be 200 gold pieces.
And I adjusted my monies accordingly, sir. Now I have a. How much money did we get from this 8,333? Is that what you said?
Yeah, 8,333.
I got so much money it ain't even funny.
You bought them all though, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
Dude, I-
good.
I got 900 platinum pieces, man, and like thousands of gold still.
He's got some coinage.
What else around here?
In terms of the wares, that's the majority of what's kind of caught your eye.
You got a short sword or something like that that is enchanted to warn you of danger?
No, he does not have one of the warning enchantments.
Short sword of warning. Damn it. I would like
Does
to
he have a defective short sword of warning?
I'd like to have another one of those. Oh, you're automatically surprised. It's the backwards. It's a curse version.
No, just in the morning it says something bad will happen.
Wait, is it a pike of warning? Important question. Important fucking question. Is its price maybe 66,400 gold?
No, that one's no longer available.
Who bought it? What in crazy noble was like? Yeah.
Well, considering that there are now like demonic entities rumored to be walking the lands, some people aren't taking any chances.
Oh my
And
God.
then throughout the day something anywhere from majorly bad to minorly inconvenient will happen,
Hey.
and then out in the distance you hear the
Give me
sword
a-
say, "I warned you."
How about a
Oh
bag
my
of
God.
holding? You got one of them? Bag of holding, something like that. You know.
Does not have a bag of holding.
You're
I
fine.
have
That's
one.
like. I'll buy it from.
What? It's mine.
I'll give you 900 gold for it.
It's mine.
Damn it! I want one myself. How about a haversack or a portable hole? One of those things. You got any of them?
Making one last check. And no, does not have that. If you come back after we make some more trips, we might have some more inventory in stock.
All right, dude. Take care of yourself.
Likewise, sir. Pleasure doing business with you.
That's a weird little dude as he walks out the store.
And there's lots of like jittery gnomes and things on this vessel. You see some other larger crewmen like carrying some of the purchased items for people outside off the ship onto the dock, where they bring it to their like carts and things to travel out through the city. And it's not just magical goods that they're selling too. Again, it's various material stock, things like bits of like minerals and things like that. They're selling all kinds of things in mass quantities, as well as more.
Whoa. Do they have any adamantine ore for sale?
You haven't seen anything like that. You've seen things like copper ore, iron ore, various bits of peculiar like tree logs. Basically like the taiga kind of trees that don't really grow in this region. Things like that. You see these things, various little plants, bits of fat, like large spools of fabric and things that seem kind of rare. Various bits of dyes, kegs of unknown
He's
fluids.
just inspired me, though. I'm gonna go. Is there an exotic animals market around? Y'all know of any place like that? Because elephants are cool as shit, and you can buy them. Yeah, they're like one of the few really good animals you can actually purchase off the player's handbook.
What's an elephant?
Make a investigation.
You never
check.
seen no elephant? They're amazing. I rode one for
You do
years.
realize you do know I'm from a small fishing village on
You
off the
said
coast, right?
investigation check?
Yes.
If we're traveling around via teleport, we might not be able to bring that elephant.
And 11.
Well,
What's an elephant?
walking through
If
through
you,
the
if you
docks,
find one, you'll see it.
asking questions about exotic animal handlers and merchants selling, you do catch wind of some merchants that have brought some, I guess what you call exotic animals, to and from the city. And again, this is on another ship. And
Awesome.
as you approach the ship,
I hear a distinctive noise.
you hear a very distinctive trumpeting sound.
Yeah! You hear, like he yells, and then he runs forward like a kid at a carnival. Run toward the sound. Come on, Barth! And he runs toward the sound.
Is he dragging Barth by the arm?
Hell yeah.
Barth,
All
are you
right
gonna?
then.
Okay, Barth, just lets him take him by the hand. Okay, so let's see.
You never seen an elephant? I'm excited. You're about to see an amazing creature.
Surprised I don't have that. Okay. So the ship has various animals. Some of them you've seen before. They're not that exotic, like mules. They do have some other ones like camels, though. They even have one that looks like a large scorpion that has barding attached to it, like not armored barding, but more of barding to attach like baskets or boxes and things to the top of its frame, and its tail is kind of anchored behind it where it can't like sting anything. The claws are also like not rubber banded, but almost like steel banded closed, and you just see like the little mouth pincers just kind of like kind of move as it just kind of turns around in this big iron cage that it's trapped in. Seeing you approach on this exotic animal tour here, this rather portly, dark-skinned human has not quite a turban, but is a full kind of head covering. It's a orange and almost violet combination of colors. The robes that he has are very simple, but the color combinations and the jewelry on him shows that he does have more wealth than you would think just looking at him. And he does stand out like a sore thumb through all the background items and animals here, which the smell of which kind of permeates your senses and just kind of assaults you. A lot of the crew here are taking care of the animals. You can see them like cleaning some of the cages, feeding them, washing the animals themselves. Friends! Welcome! So, are you in the need of any kind of animal mounts, or maybe doing some animal husbandry with some of the more exotic creatures here? Maybe starting your own farm, or maybe just need a fancy pack mule or something for your own private collection.
Do you have any elephants that are
I am Ophiuchus, by the way.
Oh yeah, okay, well, I'm excited, sir. Sorry, I ain't seen elephant in a long time. Name is Sarson, Menir Sarson. Nice to meet you. This is my friend Barth and my other friend Granny Nix. I heard the distinctive sound of an elephant on my approach, and I would like to, see these fine animals.
Ah, man with a discerning ear. Yes, I do have one. It's actually in the lower deck below us. Ah,
Male or
Yeah.
female, age, that kind of stuff. What size, disposition,
well, come, let me show you here. It is a male. But from our best guess with this from our animal experts here, about 5 years of age. Was found in Tianjin. Not sure if you've been there, but they do a lot of dragon worship. They have their own emperor of sorts. Lands in the far, far east. But the planes they have are fantastic for these animals. Great breeds that seem they grow to be massive size. Massive, I tell you. And he's telling us as you're walking down, and you see some of the larger animals down there. And they have, like, he's got owl bears that are just kind of like, when you get down there, like, they stand up like they get, like, hostile, like they just want to rip the cage open to get to you. And he's just like, don't fret. The cages, we'll hold the creatures
I
here.
ain't worried about it, sir.
Good man,
Trust me.
good man. And you can see the
How
elephant
big is
there.
this dude? Can he not see that I'm a fucking giant?
Oh, this guy is like maybe 5'7", 5'8". Like you see,
Okay.
like he's not. The footwear he has is almost like sandals with like little pointed toes. So and he's just striding along with you, just kind of keeping his hands in front, almost like clasped together. But yes. Here's the magnificent creature I was telling you about, and you see the elephant just kind of laying down in the cage, just kind of looking about, and it sees the merchant, and it sees you, and does another kind of just trumpet as people are there, and he just kind of stands up, just very slowly. You hear like the wood creak. It's like, don't worry, the floorboards here are double reinforced.
How's he look, Dave?
He looks in a healthy condition.
And he's full growed, but he's young or
He's-
what? Is it?
He's young, but you basically think of it as a young adult.
Okay. So he's mostly full growth.
Mm-hmm. The only imperfection that this creature has is one of his tusks. Looks like the right tusk looks like it was damaged at some point. Like it took either a hit from something or he hit something really
Yeah.
hard and it's kind of like chipped and cracked. It looks like it's not like it's still split in it or anything like that.
That's cool.
It has heel, but it does have its own marking. It does have a little character on that.
I'll make him some tusk caps. It'll be awesome. Adamantine tusk caps for an elephant. That'd be great. Well, let me in there to examine them before I purchase.
Fair enough. Just be careful with these creatures. Some of them have a temperament of their own. Don't want you to get hurt, and
I'll take the risk, sir.
okay, fantastic. Love it when there's no liability on my part from a buyer. All right, and he claps, and you see some of the other people that get the keys. They open the cage and there's a small door that they open up. It's nothing big where the elephant could just leave out of. And they open up this door that you just kind of you have to tuck your head in to get under because it's not a full size door. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
slightly smaller door. You can like tuck your
What's-
head in. You go in by the side. Like you have to enter in by the shoulder first.
What's Barth's reaction to this elephant, by the way?
He's like, wow, that thing is fucking huge.
Yeah. They're cool, man.
Nix
Well,
is just staring at the guy.
all right, I will approach the animal, Dave.
Okay.
Well, hey there, big fella. Name's Minir. And he'll have his hands, open, held out to the sides to show you don't have nothing in them. And I'll make an animal handling
I was
check.
about to just ask you to make that.
I will spend my inspiration. Jesus Christ. Well, he's probably not going to kill me right away.
No, it doesn't try to kill you, but it's you can see it's kind of uneasy as you approach it. Yeah, like you can sense it's like tensing up. You can see it like in its actions, like its feet kind of raise up a bit, like when the legs lift up, the head just kind of moving back and forth, flopping the ears about. And you've seen Gorda do this like
Yep.
moments before she gores somebody or stomps them down.
Well, Gordo, because that's gonna be your name, by the way. We gotta reach some kind of understanding here before you try to crush my fucking head. What do I do?
If only he had like 1 or 2 dryads with him.
Well, I do happen to have some dryad friends. That's a refined, more distinguished accent from Mr. Sarson.
Do you need some help?
Yeah, well, this is kind of hard to figure. I'm having a problem getting a read on him. Is what the deal is, and you got to have a connection with these creatures for a true bond to be established. I probably just need some time to work with them. Maybe if I feed them and stuff. You got any good feed around here? You got any peanuts in your holds here?
If you
So I can get
require purchase of the beast, we can also sell you some supplies to feed
Well,
and take care of
hey,
it.
how about, sir? Trust me. How about a couple gold to give me some? Let me feed your animal real quick. Give me a few minutes here with him, and then if I'm satisfied with his temperament toward me, then I assure you we can talk coinage on his purchase. It's a negotiation process, but I need to know he's not going to try to kill me as soon as I buy him and we take him out the hole. Does that sound fair to you? Here's 5 gold. Give me some peanuts.
So he gives you some food that they normally feed the elephant with, and he takes your gold, and the trainers just kind of stand by as you have a handful of food now.
All right, can I try again since I got some food?
Yep, and you can do it with advantage.
I can do it with
take
advantage.
a
Cool.
inspiration.
I don't need it. He just gave me advantage because I'm using.
No, it's a bardic inspiration.
Oh, sweet! Please do, please.
Yeah, take. I'll play a soothing tune on my viol and walk up with
What?
in here.
What's your inspiration? D8.
D10.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, the party has a bard now.
I'm glad for that. I ain't rolling too damn good on these freaking animal healing.
But you got the bardic though.
Roll your D10.
16. That's better.
Yeah, it's still timid, but it doesn't try to crush your skull or anything. It does take the food and eats the food. It doesn't recoil away from you, but it doesn't like nuzzle into you either. It just kind of
Yep.
takes
Time.
the food.
It'll be time, Gordo. I pat him. Pat his trunk when he gets the food. It'll take time, my friend. We're gonna get along good, trust me.
So, my large friend,
All right.
can we make a deal for this magnificent creature?
Yeah, how much you want?
Well, did you want to also get some supplies?
Yep, I need a bunch of stuff. I'll rattle you off a list of exactly what I need.
And what do you need for this?
I need an exotic saddle. I need 2 barrels. About 250 feet of rope. Stuff like that. I need a lot of stuff.
Okay. Let's see.
Some saddlebags, that kind of thing. Modified, of course, because
Yeah.
freaking ginormous.
Well, that's kind of part of the, the exotic part of that. But the barrels of feed and all that. That's something else here. Give me one moment.
4 barrels total. 2 of his feed and then 2 into it.
So
One filled with
while
fresh water.
while he's doing the negotiations, can I walk over to the scorpion sounds?
the scorpion, yeah.
How big is it?
It is the scorpion itself is probably about 9 feet or so in length, but with the tail kind of curved up, it does make it seem a little smaller than that. It's a large-sized creature in terms
So
of game
it's a
terms.
giant scorpion. Cool.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a big fucking scorpion.
Technically, if you could train it not to kill you, large is bigger than medium. You could ride it as a mount if it wasn't going to kill you.
What's this thing's deal?
That's a giant scorpion. It'll stab you in the back of the neck. First time you try to mount it and ride it around, it'll probably kill you dead. That's just how they do.
Is that true?
Trust me, ma'am. I know about critters. Scorpion's nature is to kill the stuff and eat it. It'll probably
But I
Only
mean, if
people-
this guy's selling it, it can't be all that vicious.
see its tail is been restrained though. That way, you know it can't sting you. But trust
Yeah,
me,
it's not going to be used. It will not be able to be used for combat.
Also, scorpions are super freaking cool because they eat rotten flesh.
they are cool, but they'll kill you deader than shit.
You can actually raise scorpions to be pretty passive towards humans, and they are some of the coolest pets I've ever seen.
I like scorpions too.
Hey, Animal Man.
Also, praying mantises are also really cool. They eat their prey alive.
Anyway, so the merchant, while getting the order ready for men here, goes over to Nyx. Yes, madam. How may I help you?
Will this thing kill me?
No. I mean, not unless you really try to make it kill you. But as you can see, many precautions have been taken for this fine creature. Its tail has been completely immobilized and devenomed, and its claws have been banded together permanently. So you will not be able to be cut in half by them or stung or impaled on its mighty tail. That has all been taken care of. It is a fantastic creature if you need to stow your wares on to transport. It can traverse some of the most difficult terrain imaginable with ease. Quite sturdy creatures, and the built-in armored hide provided by its nature makes it, some of the more toughest mounts I've ever seen. Fantastic creatures.
How much is it?
Let me get a figurehead for you here. Doo-doo-doo. So this fantastic beast here, I can part ways with for 700 gold.
700 seems like a lot for something that's been kind of hobbled.
Well, if you find a better deal anywhere else for a creature such as this, you're free to have at it, but I guarantee you'll never see something like this again. These are very hard to acquire, and they are not native to this land.
I've killed like half a dozen of them in my life, so I've seen them. You can find them all over the place in the wilds. Oh, wait a minute. That's my world. Never mind. I don't know how that works.
650 and I'll buy a saddle.
Well, if you buy a saddle, then that would raise the price up to 710 gold pieces, madam. But if you agree to that price, then you can have this fantastic creature and the saddle.
Yeah, alright. I know someone that would like this.
Very well. He claps his hands, and the men just comes over, and he tells them about the sale, and one of them kind of brings you over to get your coin and to sign the paperwork that you are going to have this creature. And basically,
1, 2, 3.
4 hours later.
Four.
So men here, same thing with you. They kind of bring over side, and from what you requested, all your other gear that you wanted, the barrels of food, the extra ropes, the saddles and so forth for the mount for the elephant. The whole price with that's going to come to 360 gold pieces. And that includes the whole price of the elephant.
Yep, three. I'll pay 365. It's the number of days in the year. It's also my badge number.
Okay. So they bring you over. They sign the bill of sales. Like they count the coin out. They things I understand. This is an exotic creature, and all the little hubbub that stuff you already know how to take care of an elephant. But you can see like they try to make people aware, like, hey, this isn't a horse. This isn't a dog or a cat. This creature can be very dangerous. Treat it with respect, and it's going to have special needs. And you basically kind of sign a form saying, hey, I understand this as I am buying this, so that they're not liable when, the idiot buyer just buys it for their kid or whatever, and then it winds up killing half of their, household.
Yeah, tramples people to death, all that kind of stuff.
Yep, they cover their base legally. Apparently, they have done this for quite a while. So, yeah, it's kind of standard stuff. You understand that. And once you give the money and sign it over, they begin the process of getting the animal out to you. Nix,
They hoist it up through the deck, probably.
no,
No?
no, they don't do that. In fact, it's interesting because they actually have another means of delivering it out. The man has one of his handlers. Now this one this handler in particular dresses a bit nicer than some of the other ones. Has these black circular lenses over his eyes. It's almost like goggles. You're not sure if he's like an elf or a half elf, but he's very lithe in his build, very wiry. But he does have kind of thick leathers on with high collars that kind of go out to points. His hair is kind of short and spiky and white. Skin is kind of fair. No real imperfections on it. In fact, it's very perfect skin. Has these thick leather gloves on, and he pulls out what you can see looks like this kind of flask. And as he opens up the flask, he says something. He mutters something, and this, like, you see the elephant start to turn gaseous and smoky as the smoke is sucked in to this flask, and then he just corks it. And
How the hell did you get in the fruity bottle? An iron flask. How'd you get that?
friend,
That's an elemental creation.
I have been all over this world many times. I've come into contact with many civilizations and many traders.
How
You
much for the
find a few
flask?
things. Not for sale, my friend. Not
Damn.
for sale.
Son of a bitch.
And the man brings out to the port where it's, open area, and with the handlers present, releases the cork, and the elephant appears, and the handlers just make sure that that he is restrained. And kind of they walk you over to her and give you to the elephant and give you the ropes kind of attached around the neck, and the last of the guys put the barrels down that you ordered, the two empty, the two full with food. The saddle's not attached onto the elephant, but you do see everything else, like the ropes coiled and so forth. All that's there. We're outside the dock on the main street with your elephant, so you're there standing with your elephant.
Hell yes.
And Granny Nix rides out on her scorpion with a vacant expression on her face.
I will take the time to load out the kit exactly how I would have back in the day. This is perfect. I feel like I'm coming home. Hey, so I do have the stats already on on D&D Beyond. I'll just change the name to Gordo.
There you
Instead
go.
of-
And yeah, and as you see, like you hear people like kind of like gasp and quickly move out the way as this old lady is trying to drive a scorpion down the dock. You just hear the tick, 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 tick. It just stops. It kind of turns a little bit, and Granny's trying to drive it further down the dock.
That is so cool.
Should
That
I roll
clicked
a
on
handle
D&D
animal check?
Beyond and
When we get to more of the travels and situations outside, there will be checks for that. For right now, it's kind of show, but it is still a very wild animal that will need to be tamed unless you use some sort of magical influence over it to instantly make it calm or to subjugate it basically to your will magically. To naturally kind of bond with it will take a little bit of time, just like it will with the elephant.
Sweet, brother, sweet.
All right, so having acquired the mounts now, what else do you do while waiting for the response?
I go back on. I go back to the Nymph's Rest and find
Oh.
Faith. Not the Nymph's Rest.
I was just saying, like that's a little far away, and wow.
I go back to the inn we're at and find
The drunken justice.
Faith.
Yeah, Nymph's Rest is in a different city that's being contested right now.
Yeah, I grab her and drag her outside.
Praise Allura, goddess of beauty, for my fortune in finding such a fine animal. So what do you think?
It's big. It's really big.
Barth passed out.
Ivy kind of looks at it and
Barth faints on the dock.
Ooh.
I'm just kidding.
Ivy just kind of like touches the trunk. What is it?
This here is an elephant.
Elephant. She's like petting it a little bit, like on the side of its leg and shoulder.
So Faith will follow Granny Nyx out, as her eyes look over towards the elephant for a moment, looking somewhat surprised to see an exotic animal, and then they trail towards the giant scorpion.
I bought something scary.
So
That's,
behind Faith, you guys see her tail kind of waving back and forth as she looks at it with this deadpan expression. Ah, I see, my child. You've picked up a large scorpion. May I go and pet it? And then her tail starts moving back and forth more.
You want it?
Are you sure about that? Her tail begins waving faster.
I wave my broom at her.
So she's going to walk over to the scorpion, kneeling down towards it, and then begin slowly petting it.
Okay, you start to pet it. You notice the arms, the claws are bound by metal bands, and even some of the arms are attached to this like metallic framework that's attached to this creature. It's like literally like bolted into this creature's exoskeleton. So it doesn't have a lot of give with the arms, so it's not like it can actually snap or swipe anybody with it, but it does have a little bit of movement in the arms. The tail is kind of the same thing. There's various little like metal bars that kind of keep the tail in a perfect arch over where the rider would sit, but you can see that part of the tail has been kind of worked on surgically, so there's no venom sacs in the tail, and even what's left of the stinger is really kind of weak looking. But for show, the tail is there, and it looks really impressive.
She's going to look over towards the party for a moment. Does anyone here have any rotten flesh that I can feed it?
No, that's not typically something I carry around with me.
So
You can try the butchers.
you hear somebody clear their throat very forcefully behind you.
Faithful look over in the direction, continuing to pet the scorpion.
You see a one of the city watch behind you, looking at these two exotic beasts that are just roaming right here in the city. You have papers for these beasts.
Just got them. So
Did
I do
did
got
we get?
You just got the ownership papers and that the waiver that you signed. Basically, like you understand that that's a exotic creature that has special needs and is not a quote unquote pet and it is quite deadly.
I hand the papers to the guard.
These are more of
Yep.
bill
I'm
of
assuming.
sale.
Yeah, I'm assuming that there's like a permit we gotta buy. Where would we want to go to purchase said permit, sir? We just purchased these animals
Go to
from
the courthouse, see the magistrate, make a formal request for such animals. Due to a lot of these beasts' unique natures, they can damage the city, and we want to make sure that, well, any damage they might do, we can track the owners and have it properly paid for any repairs that are needed. Or any harm come to the Sinistery because of, well, let's just say if they're not properly kept or handled.
It sounds like an issue that the man that sold them to us should have because he didn't ask for any kind of papers.
Where's
And-
the courthouse, sir? I'll go there right away. Don't
Let me
wanna
guess,
cause
you
any trouble.
purchased this from the docks.
Affirmative.
Yeah,
Well, if it was on his vessel, then that is his property and is not on city property, so he can sell whatever he wishes through his vessel. Once they are in the city, however, that becomes the owner's problem, which is
All right,
you.
how much for the import fee? And then I'll go to the courthouse and get.
that sounds really stupid.
I'll pay the import fee.
It's
Say
about as silly as
50 gold.
the gambling laws in Louisiana for the riverboat casinos.
Yep, exactly.
I don't gamble, so I don't know.
It's how
Bring
they
this, I got this.
circumvent a lot of the laws by being on the boat, or the international sales by going through waters instead of like being in, the actual contested waters. They go in the.
Will 50 gold cover the tariff for bringing this animal into this for the two? That sounded about fair.
Well, the guard doesn't know the prices. He will tell you, bring you to the, direct you to the courthouse if you don't know, or one of the local magistrates in the district. And if you go through that, they will explain to you like the paperwork you have to sign. But all in all, the fees for that is actually going to be 20 gold with all the paperwork and the fees with that. Now, the thing is though that this is something that you'd have to, as long as that animal's here, you want that permit to stay active, you have to pay up monthly with.
So 20
Nick's-
gold a month.
Essentially,
Nick's
to keep your
goes in-
permit to have an exotic beast.
How much for a lifetime permit?
They don't do lifetime permits.
How much by year?
Well,
How much to be licensed as an exotic animal owner in this?
for
region
if you want to pay up for the
my
full year with that, it's gonna be 240 gold.
So they don't do like where you go in and say, "Hey, I'm an exotic animal handler. I want to pay to just be one forever and have a permit that never gets." They don't do that.
So they have different, like you're just an owner with that, having the actual beast. They have other permits, but those are mostly for like merchants who are trying to sell things like that in the city. to have a place of business where they would inspect where you keep the animal at, you know, the conditions of the animal that have surprise inspections. With this permit, basically is the bare bones basic permit that they allow with that. If you were to have more than one exotic animal with you, thankfully both of these are not purchased by you. They would want to know like where you're keeping the animals, things like that, and kind of, you know, see how you'd be taking care of them, how you would keep them from not running amok in the city, since you have more than one exotic animal. Having one under your charge, they can understand like that's your mount. You know, that's what you use to travel or
Yeah, so
to-
like two
to pull your business carts or whatever. They understand those
Yeah.
needs and they're lenient with that. But if you have multiple of these, they want to. That's when it's like, oh, pump the brakes. We need to see, you know, how you're going to keep these things from running amok.
Okay, so 250 would cover it for a year.
Well, 240 would cover for a full year.
I'll pay 250.
I'll pay the 20 gold, and the whole time we're walking to the guard, I'll be cursing and complaining about both the guard and the law. But I paid the 20 gold, so Faith will have her scorpion for a month.
Okay, so the scorpion's under your name, but you're letting Nyx have it. So just the FYI on that.
Whatever. Nyx doesn't give a shit about the law. She just doesn't want to
She is
cause
above the
trouble.
law. Okay. No, that's cool. That's fine. Just so you know, you're aware with that. In case, you know, Faith just goes, you know, haywire and starts feeding all sorts of things to that scorpion that, you know, you may or may not want fed to it. It's all in Faith.
Hey, listen, alright, that one orphan asked for it, okay?
We're talking about that
They
one.
will eat non rotten meat as well. They just prefer rotten meat.
Mm-hmm. The fact that they prefer rotten meat is just really cool. It's like vultures, except they look cool.
Vultures are really fucking cool.
Oh,
You could
yeah.
like basically kill something and throw it like a flank raw steak. They'll eat that shit too. They just would rather it be, which is effing weird but cool. Yeah.
So, what are we doing now?
I don't care what anyone else does. I'm happy.
I don't know, I mean, we were supposed to do something, I think. Where's Willow?
Willow went off shopping.
Well,
By
There goes
herself. This is bad.
yeah.
This is bad. You didn't think this through, Barth. Although you did get to see an elephant.
And you also
You know-
watch an old lady ride a scorpion.
You know, to be fair, probably should have kept Willow out of trouble more. More than you.
So what is Willow shopping for?
Willow was out buying fancy clothing for everybody. Because
Kind
we're
of-
going to go meet a king.
Ah. Okay.
Nope.
But isn't my actual
Nope.
or bejeweled nun's outfit like fancy enough for Willow?
You don't want the answer to that.
Minner's gonna polish his armor. He ain't wearing no damn fancy bull.
All right. So not to get too complex with that, Comey, Willow can basically find. I'm assuming just fine clothes with that. Just something that.
She went to her old tailor contact.
Oh, you want the extra custom made, like they get your whole measurements.
Yeah, she was throwing 1,500 gold at this.
Oh wow.
Oh.
That's okay.
It's not. Well, I mean, yeah, there's quite a
The
bit.
the
but there's also a
accessories
bunch-
are if you're are you literally
Yeah.
just throwing down 1,500 total for?
Thread of gold, made of gold. You know, like
Well, no,
Yeah.
the threads wouldn't be made of gold. It would be using like very expensive dyes, you know, exotic dyes, the finest fabrics. But again, all of it's custom tailored to the person. So, you know, they'd have to get like men here in there and measure men here, just to make sure like he has all the room.
that ain't gonna happen.
They have
There you
enough
go.
fabric to make sure it's plenty of room down there. So, you know.
No, he ain't gonna wear no damn fancy bullshit, man.
He just wear no. See, he just wears a kilt.
So how many people don't go?
Faith will go.
I'll go. You can like I don't know, bejewel my banana hammock or something. I don't know.
Man, here just goes in a fucking thong.
Why not?
Well, most of the cost of that, Comey, the extra money of that is going to be some of the accessories. So the outfits will have bits of like jewelry that accent the outfit. So
You're right.
basic little flair things, like not just like for the women, like, you know, bracelets or necklaces, but the guys also have like almost like highly decorative, almost like wrist bracers that go with the outfits, kind of clasp onto the shirts and the tunics. It's all you see where every copper piece went into these outfits, and it is very regal. Something that you would expect some of the highest of nobility to wear. This is more than most people see in their lives.
Exactly. We gotta make an impression.
And my voice, I can't do the flamboyant shop owner's voice, so I apologize.
It's fine.
Because he's a dragonborn on top of us, I was like, that's gonna hurt.
Yep, she just goes in, she arranges it all, and that would be all she does during the couple days.
Okay. So, but yeah, everybody would have to get measured up and. All right. So, with that, if there's anybody else to have anything else, because y'all pretty much covered your 2 days here. Let's see here. Let's do. Okay. So the 2 days pass, and you, Willow, this very, I guess you'd call him a fancy lad, comes up to you, very clean, hair, little blonde hair is pulled back in a tight ponytail with a little kind of white ribbon, has these kind of gray slacks with a kind of a light, like a dark gray, light black jacket, and just kind of shuffles his feet and puts them together and just kind of bows like before you, and produces a letter with a very thick wax seal on it. Lady Willow, I have a message to be delivered directly to you. It's he tells you it's from Lady Zelona, which is your contact.
Well, thank you very much, and please send my regards.
And he puts a fist to his chest and just kind of bows and quickly just looks at the rest of you, just like, okay, and just runs off.
Hello.
And he walks faster away. Seems very very nervous or very uneasy around your group.
I wonder why. All right, let's open it up and see what we get.
So the letter response, it's took a little doing, some favors to be called in, but considering the hero of Reldin wished to meet the king, it has been agreed upon. And I'm looking for some information here so I can finish reading this note here, because I got to pull up like 3 different windows here because everything's all over the damn place. But King Fulmar has agreed to meet Barth, though he was saddened that he never got to meet Barth at a banquet held in his honor about a year ago. They are eager to meet him now. So please, be on your best behavior and dress your best, as you are invited to the castle.
I have a question, Comey.
Yeah.
Frostbrand, that was what you gave me, right? Frostbrand?
Yep.
Is it Frostbrand longsword?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure I'm adding equipment to my ship. I'm getting some cool weapons now. A vicious maul is kind of cool. So basically, when I crit, which I do often, it does extra 7 damage.
I think it's on a nat 20 specifically.
Oh,
Yeah, it's on it. Yeah, it's not when every time you crit. It's just when a 20 is rolled.
that's horrible. It should be on a crit. That's a flaw in their design. Still cool though.
So she tells you that the party that you've been invited to is going to be held in 3 days' time, basically for the weekend. So, Cinderella, you're going to the ball on Saturday.
All right, everybody, please, please, please don't embarrass me or Bar.
And Ivy's just like, okay, I'll try my best.
Well,
Alright,
I'm
I
pretty
need
sure
to
that's I'm pretty sure that's already a foregone conclusion.
I need to get ready. And she waggles her fingers above her leaf and stick strewn hair, and then an owl appears and starts making a nest and settling down on top of her head. I'm ready.
Yeah, like I said, pretty much already a foregone conclusion. You get used to it.
Okay. Why an owl, though?
His name is Tharlo. He's my familiar.
Everyone knows owls are superior, dude. They're like the best familiar you can have.
Flying monkeys. And Will's gonna switch over to Beanstalk. You be a good owl, okay? No bad owls. I'm gonna get thrown out. It'll be my birthday all over again.
And Ivy be like, oh, it's your birthday? We're going to your birthday party? I
No.
need to get you a present.
It's okay. You don't need to get me a present.
And she like remember she like doesn't have money or anything. And she's like pouting. She's just kind of thinking like,
I'll sleight of hand like Ivy 20 gold.
And she make a sleight of hand check. I want to see if Willow notices this or anybody else.
26.
Yeah. No. Nobody's passive perception picked that up. So yeah, Ivy just kind of feels like coin, like a little bit of coin she didn't have. Yay! And she kind of gets up and she starts to quickly go towards the exit of the Drunken Jester.
Where's she going? Ivy!
All right, dude, mute yourself. That was the creepiest thing I've ever.
My laughing game has always been on point.
All right. Well, I mean, Ivy's leaving.
Bye.
Does
That is the
someone
greater
want to
than the
stop her?
Willow's already following because that is greater
Yeah.
than the mandatory max 5 feet she's allowed.
Yeah, she's already moved out of the 5 feet max range. She's entered the danger zone.
I'll go with them. Make sure they don't blow anything up.
Faith will get up.
You're right. Apparently it's my birthday. Okay, Barth. I'm trusting you since you're Newt's champ. Don't make me regret it, please. I can't lose another one.
Oh, it's actually a rolled amount according to the according to the equipment list in roll 20. It's an extra 2 die 6. I think they just averaged it to 7 in the description. Or so do you take?
Now I'm looking at beyond. It specifically says the target takes an extra 7.
Okay, well SRD had it as 2 die in the roll 20 equipment list. It had it as 2 die 6. I think the average of 2 die 6.
Yep, it used to be 2d6, but they've since when they finally made Vicious Weapon official release, they changed.
I see.
All right, so Barth was going with Ivy.
Yeah, it's gonna make sure nothing bad happens.
Okay.
Willow is pacing
To
the
her or by
entire-
her.
Yeah, she's like going to like different merchant stalls, like looking for, just looking at everything, like just trying to find a gift for Willow, and eventually she does find a gift, which she doesn't know about haggling, and she kind of overpaid in her zealous excitement of the item. And she also showed way too much interest in the item on top of everything, so she didn't spend all the gold, but she overpaid by a few gold for what she got. And I'm not going to say what she got because that's going to be a surprise for later. But Barth is the only one who knows what she has acquired.
Yay.
So, anyway, eventually Barth comes back with Ivy in tow, and she's just like, she has this little box it's almost like a round hat box that's just got this like little decorative ribbon on top of it, just kind of tied, and she's just all smiling and beaming, and okay, I'm ready for your party now.
Well, it'll be a few days, but don't worry. Big Sis will help get you.
Okay. And she just like sits with the box on her lap, and she just like, her feet are just shuffling on the ground. She's like so excited.
On one hand, Willow's proud of her. On the other hand, that could be a.
Could be a severed head. You don't know.
Dude, it could be a propeller hat.
Okay, well, I will trust in Bar.
So we're going to the king now?
think there's anything else anyone has.
Yeah, if there's nothing else you want to do in the span between now and that Saturday, we can just jump straight to Castle Reldon.
Yeah, I
I'm
guess
good.
so.
Well, all right. So making your way to Castle Reldon, it is separated for a majority of the city through various gates and guard houses, which you are stopped by. Like the very first one you're stopped at now, they are checking for weapons. Did anybody bring weapons?
I have my staff of charming, if that counts.
Would we have been told not to bring weapons?
Considering where you're going, the fact that it is almost unheard of that people even enter this place, they don't see like the regular populace. They have a exterior council of public servants that see like people make requests or like, hey, we got a problem here that we need addressed. They talk to the public and then they send reports back to, the castle. When Barth got an invite to the castle, that was a huge deal. Like that, like never happens.
Okay. Motherfucker. Maybe I should just bow out of this one. I don't like going nowhere without weapons, dudes.
Does my staff of charming count?
Do you try to bring it?
Well, she's using it like a walking stick, kind of hobbled over.
Make a deception check. Trying to convince the guard that you need it through your actions, your words.
20.
You see like one of the guards, because the guards are like, Goliaths, half elves, and they're looking at your group as they're searching for weapons, and one of them goes to like grab the stick that you have there and just kind of looks at it and taps it.
I'm old.
Yeah, I know that, and that's exactly like one of them says like, "You're going to take this old woman's walking staff? It seems like a stick. I don't hear or feel any extra weight or hear any hollow compartments," and just gives it back to you.
Thank you.
Willow has a single weapon that is tightly secured.
Ivy?
Nope. She's bringing her holy event.
Dude, Menir would show up like a fucking armory, okay? And he'd be like, is there anywhere for me to stow these?
So,
Fuck. Christ in hell, dude. He's like a walking fucking weapon shop. For real, literally. I'm not even... The litany is as follows. 2 mauls, a pike, 4 javelins, 2 hand axes, a battle axe, and a frostbrand longsword.
So any weapons that are obviously weapons that are not hidden on your
Nope.
persons or
All prominently
or
displayed.
stored magically on your persons through like gloves of storing, things of that nature, or like warlocks' natural abilities and things like that. Any of the such weaponry is quickly found, and the guards. You cannot bring this past this gate. We can lock it up here for you when you exit the estates, but you cannot bring these beyond this point.
Excellent. Remember that scene from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome
Which one?
when he goes in there? When they're taking his weapons at the gate, man. Remember? And they got the table there, and he starts pulling out all these weapons and shit.
Oh yeah, the slams a double barrel
Fuck
shotgun.
yeah, dude! Fuck yeah, dude! He's like getting weapons from all over the fucking place. The only thing he kept was that was
The
that
whistle?
crop that actually had a dagger in it and a whistle. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I just Menir goes, where do you want me to put them? And just starts loading it down with all these fucking weapons, man.
And
Oh wait, hang on, I forgot. He should. Nyx adds a rapier and a dagger to the stack, pulling them out of her bag of holding.
see, if she kept it in the bag of holding, it would have been fine. And they just kind of look
She
at her.
doesn't use them.
There's like, thank you.
I'm old.
Okay. So they don't take your staff, and they take each of your items. They write down a list with your name, like you had, you know, this item. That they write a brief description of it. They tag it, put it in it's almost like a large foot locker that's pretty heavy. Like the locker itself is solid metal, and when they put it on the table, it's just like boom. And they put your stuff in it and mark it. They give it a lock that you have a key to, and they tag it, put it down once you put all your stuff in it. And they do this for everybody. Like you sign the paper that like this was my stuff, and there's a spot where you sign when you collect it and all that, and turn in the paper in for your locker. So
Well, if she can't get the excuse, it's a paladin sacred artifact, it must come with me. She'll leave it with Nene and then try to sneak a dart weaved into her hair as a pin.
okay, since that's a small item of that, make a deception check with advantage, since you're trying to make it as part of your attire. Okay, and you see them like look over your body, because they are still kind of like checking you to make sure you don't have anything else kind of hidden on you. Not quite a pat down, but they are just making sure that there's no like daggers in the boots, things like that. And you see them kind of get by your hair, because you have a lot of hair, and they kind of look at it, but they don't see anything with the dart in there, and they let it slide.
You all have so many muscles. You gonna pat me down too?
So they would probably try to take her bladed flag, right? Which is her what she has stowed on her back. It's
Oh yeah, they'd have her unwrap it, and they'd look at it like, what do you have there, and they would get that locked up as well.
All right.
Now you can rewrap it up before they lock it up, but they would take a look
She
at
will.
it and be like, yeah, no, that's got to get locked up. Now you notice they don't really push Barth too hard with that. Just like he's got obvious things that are just like, just put it in the lockbox.
Yeah.
Anything that he throws in there. But yeah, they didn't go like full ham on Barth. It was just like, it's Barth. They're just like, here, just put your stuff in
How
here.
thorough is the search?
What are you trying to hide?
I was just gonna make a joke. Never mind.
Yeah, dude, his penis is weapon, don't you know?
Well, no, they're not doing a full pat down. No, they're not doing that. They're checking things like, boots, gloves, things that where people would try to have like, assassination weapons, things like that. Very obvious weaponry, but they're not doing like a full pat down where they're touching every single part of your body to see if you have, something taped to your back. Anyway, so once you hand in all your weapons to the guards at the first gate there, there's this elaborate kind of white and gray stone stairwell that goes up the mountains here, where you can hear the crashing winds on it give that rolling thunder like sound, which gives the city its nickname, the City of Storms. And it is the evening time. It's about 9 o'clock at night. The sun has set. And as you approach, there's various little braziers up these steps that give it a nice little calming calming feel to it, and they have sweet smells also accompanying. These steps are very clean. Like you'd think something from out here in the mountain, like it would get dust and dirt and animal droppings. These things have been scrubbed spotless. And you make your way up probably about 1,000 steps to the main castle, where there is another like exterior gate at the top of these steps, and the guards here do not have the city mantle on. These guards are dressed in more of just black armor, which is similar to some of the city guard, but just they have like the white on black with the city's crest on it, that rising sun on the horizon. These don't have such a crest on them. They're just plain, featureless, black plated armor. They're not wearing like closed-faced helmets. They do have open-faced helmets on. And they look at you and... Invitations, please.
And one more question. So Minner's wearing armor. Would that be okay?
I thought Willow had you guys dress in the regalia that she spent thousands of gold on.
Never mind. She should have just got me a cape or something. An ornamental cloak to go over the armor. My armor's fancy enough.
Yeah, Berth will hand them the letter of invitation.
Fine, Willa. If I die here, I'm gonna fucking haunt you because I ain't got my armor.
Oh, don't do that.
The invitation here looks like it was for Both +1 being a
Can't
Lady
stay.
Willow.
Later. See y'all later. I'll leave. Bye.
And they kind of look at each other, and they look at another guard in the back who... You see him just kind of walk into the main castle door, and after a few minutes, the guard comes back and just nods. Well, seems an exception has been made. Please,
I'm so fucked here, people.
proceed. So, going into Castle Relden. Let's see.
I just thought about all the ways in which I could get into trouble here.
Oh, there are
There's-
so many ways that you can
there's-
get into trouble that
there's
you're
a lot.
not even aware of yet.
But I'm thinking of some pretty obscure ones.
All right.
Please don't
I
put
need
your
to warn
penis
you
in the
about.
princess.
Yeah, I need to warn you about that one.
No, not just that, man. Think of how many... Dude, Minner is about a rough dude. You know, he's a rustic, rough guy. Look at all them bored noble women who like the rougher sort. Man, we can get in so much...
So what you're saying is Men here is going to bang every single person in that castle twice on Sunday.
If they are female, amen, sir.
So you can do the Ivory approach to royalty.
Who knows how many Earth Ganassi have been sown in this world since his arrival?
Interesting. All right. Well, let's see here. So, as you all enter inside the castle doors, they're big iron doors. This is an old gray stoned castle. Probably has been here for thousands of years. Very well kept up on the outside, and inside, from what you can see, is what you would expect from a castle housing some of the city's most illustrious elite, let alone the royal family itself. There are similar armored guards posted at all the hallway intersections that you see down this first main chamber. You can see what looks to be a wandering patrol of guards, but the lavish decor. You can see some of which depicting the various, what you assume to be royal family members, as well as some local scenery from around Weldon, some possibly current and others from times long past, as well as a few vistas from across Tur itself. So you are being escorted through the hallways here by one of the servants here. They're going to bring you to a banquet hall where you're to meet the royal family. And as you're walking through the hallways, you see the servants seem to work tirelessly to ensure that everything remains clean and in its proper place. Like there are bouquets of like roses and like these little these like either brass or golden sconces on the walls, and you see like when a single petal falls down, a worker just runs to go pick it up and just clean it off the floor, making everything immaculate.
Every now and then my owl flaps its wings and feathers drop to the floor.
And the servants just kind of look at you like they give you this look like dead person walking.
Oh wow, that's sad.
Because they're all like terrified, and like they see you with this animal that's clearly making a mess, and they're just like, I mean, they're rushing to clean it up, but the other ones are just looking like the mouths are agape. They're just like in shock.
They've got really good help here. I mean, just look how clean this place is.
So, yeah, there's not a speck of dust anywhere in here. Everything is like all the knickknacks you see, like the like the crystal decanters that are on some of the displays. All that's like perfectly aligned. It's somebody who had OCD clearly went through these halls, and the workers make sure that everything remains just picture perfect. But going through the twisting halls of Castle Weldon, you are led to this quite large banquet hall. And the hall itself resembles more of a cathedral than a dining hall, just from its size alone. There's large red and purple trim banners that hang from the ceiling to the floor. The center of the chamber itself has a large kind of coal-filled like cooking pit that at the center dining table is just built around. You can see that the servants use this pit and the table to kind of keep the food warm and hot, as it's probably just served straight up to the guests. And by the amounts of seating here, there appears to be quite a large number of chairs. And probably a larger number of guests to be arriving, much larger than you probably would have thought, considering the restrictions that everybody has gone through here.
I'll be back.
So the servants kind of go to the little chairs and they kind of direct you to a chair, and they pull the chairs back and wait for you to sit before they kind of push the chair in for you.
Willow's trying her best to, be elegant.
And as you kind of wait, the chamber starts to slowly fill in with more guests, and they see you there. They don't make a lot of conversation, and even a couple of them barely talk to each other in whispers before they just very politely sit down and just kind of wait for the royal family to arrive, which are going to be seated at the end of the table, where you can tell by the elaborate throne-like chairs just seated around the end. Which, by the way, Barth has been seated pretty close to that section. Like, out of all of you, he is sitting the closest to that section.
Why'd I get sat in the kitty section?
And the servants kind of start pouring like goblets of, you know, wine and whatnot to the various guests, and grab little pitchers, and they pour like water, and you know, they ask you if you want wine, red or white. They're not serving any food yet, so that you can have your choice of vintage.
Can you mix the wine together and add a lemon wedge?
The servants just kind of look at each other and just pour a little bit of each into a little bit, and they grab a little lemon and slice a little wedge and add it in and give you the goblet.
I share the wine with my owl familiar.
You know, I'm scared that the owl is a lightweight now.
Ah, yes, some red wine and come here, come in close. Put like grape juice or something in her.
She's already kind of like peeking and trying to look at like all the stuff that's around here and look at everybody. She sees some of the heads just kind of turn toward her, and she just kind of smiles and waves. Nobody smiles and waves back.
Nick smiles and waves back.
It's okay, Ivy. You know that's how it is when you go to big fancy parties. You have to be all strict and sure. You know, like how Barth is all the time, but with less exasperated sighs.
Bart's mental state is just him screaming all the time. Let's be real here, guys.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So, after several minutes of a very long, awkward silence with these guests, all of which are high elves, by the way, there's a large gong that's kind of struck, and everybody just kind of looks at the far end of the chamber, and you see entering the chamber a group of very regally dressed high elves with the billowing cloaks, the very fine clothing. Almost, it looks like almost as near as expensive as what Willow purchased. Though two of them have crowns and two of them have tiaras. The male of the group, very broad-chested, has almost like a black and silk shirt and matching vest. It doesn't have heavy jewelry, but you do see like the various rings on one of the fingers, and just kind of looks about the chamber. Eyes kind of sit on your group. You see them kind of narrow and almost disgust at the owl and Nyx.
Hello.
And he just continues to make his ascent into the room. Next to him is a elven woman, almost as equally regally dressed, flowing gown of just white, like a pearlescent white, but it is almost like there's metal into this dress or something reflective, because you do see the various multiple bits of almost like sequin, just kind of reflecting off the various flame light in the room. It's almost like a glittering effect from her gown. And the way she moves, it's so graceful, it's like she's gliding into the room. And she has a smaller but equally decorative crown as the high elf before her. Now, beyond her are two younger high elves. Both of them have golden hair, and they just kind of look. One of them brings a little. The younger of the two does crack a little bit of a smile on her face when she looks at the group's direction. The other, which you have met once before, in the Vault of Dragons, she does not crack a smile. She remains very stone-faced serious as she enters the chamber. Her and her younger sister have kind of a blue and a teal dress. The cuts are almost identical. It's just the colors that are off a bit. And they both take seats at the table. Greetings, honored guests, visitors. We have in our company the great Barth, hero of Ralden, slayer of titans. I see you have brought your own band of guests with you. Barth, we're expecting you and he gestures over towards Willow, one of your Fey companions. Tell me, and the rest of us, who have you brought with us today in our court?
Well, it is, and it would be my pleasure, and he'll, introduce each of them, everyone else individually. I must apologize for not being able to attend the banquet. We were indisposed for a rather long time. Rather unexpectedly.
You know how the Feywild can get.
Indeed.
Yes.
Now, one thing you have noticed since your time being here, since being served your drinks, none of the other guests have touched their drinks that were served to them. Like they never even like put their hands on the goblets. They've just everything's been just neat in its place next to them.
Nyx is about halfway through her wine.
Barth hasn't either. He's way too stressed at the moment.
Faith wouldn't have touched her drink until others would have touched theirs.
It's good that you've finally come to grace us with your presence. It is but a small token of our appreciation for what you have done for my city and its citizens during the war against the Titan. And he raises up a goblet, and the others, the guests, kind of raise their goblet at the same time as the king. And to Barth, to Ralden, to life. Very slowly puts the goblet to his lips, just takes a little sip, puts the goblet down, and after he takes a sip from it, he has this towel, like this little very expensive looking cloth brought to him that's kind of placed over his right shoulder, which he takes with his left hand and just kind of dabs his mouth with after he sips. And all the guests do the same thing. Like they take a sip and they dab their mouths with the cloths. And you notice that when the king does this with his cloth, a servant takes that cloth after he just dabs it lightly and puts a brand new cloth over his shoulder.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Willow will try to mimic it all, but she won't actually drink.
Y'all are gonna have to save Miner's life because he's gonna drink all his shit. And then when he sees no one else, he might like ask, "Hey, you gonna drink that?" And then he'll drink their shit too. So y'all are gonna have to save my life, dudes. If it's a trap, I'm.
All right. Well, Willow, make a charisma check as you are trying to be on your best behavior here, trying to mimic and trying to keep up with the court's very unusual behaviors.
Willow will burn her inspiration because this is the point where she doesn't want to.
This is the part where she rolls double ones.
21.
All right. I mean, you're trying to mimic the same way as everybody else is. You just take a little tiny sip, and then with your left hand, just take the cloth that's been given to you over your right shoulder and dab your mouth. And you also notice that the guests do not take a sip until after the king takes a sip, or when he begins to take a sip.
Okay, well, never mind then.
I am now done with my wine.
Faith probably wouldn't drink from the chalice, but she would fake it, much like how Willow is doing.
Seeing all this, Barth will realize that there's wine there, and he'll remember that there's wine there, and he'll rather like awkwardly join in the toast.
All right. So, Barth, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Oh dear.
Take my inspiration. Not bardic inspiration. My regular inspiration.
$15. 15.
Is Barth within 10 feet of me?
No, but Barth. So, as you're doing your toast, and your eyes kind of meet one of the daughters that's sitting across from you, and this one that
no!
cracked, this one that had the smile, and
Amazing.
she looks directly at you, Barth, and her gold eyes just kind of when they meet with yours, they lock on for a second, and you almost kind of fall into them. Like you see the little blue in the iris that it reminds you of like these perfectly still mountain lakes that you used to hear about, and that you always just thought would be a nice little peaceful place to just kind of fish, and just so relaxing. And then as your vision kind of pulls back, you kind of take the rest of her visage and her perfect golden hair, her beautiful blue dress. You didn't quite see it before when she entered the room, but here she is stunningly beautiful, and you can't take your eyes off of her.
Well, maybe it's a good thing that's that we never get separated from her. This would be not okay. Wow. All right.
And as the guests kind of begin to slightly kind of chatter, very in whispered conversations, you see her, the daughter, across from you, Barth, just kind of look directly at you and very softly just kind of ask a direct question to you. Barth, do you find me beautiful?
Uh, well, it would be lie to say otherwise.
And she just smiles, beaming. And you see the elder sister, the mother, and the father just kind of look at the conversation. And the mother and the other sister just have those stone faces still. The father, you see him kind of frown a bit. However, the frown is not directed at you, Barth. Princess Sana, we do not do that to guests in my house. You will behave, or you will be sent to your room. Do you understand? And her face goes from a beaming smile to just that sullen stone face. Yes, Father. And you feel whatever infatuation that was pulled over you, Barth, just kind of release.
He blinks for a second. It's got like a bit of a vacant look, like he just like he looked like he was like he just woke up from slightly dozing off. Ah, right.
I do apologize, Barth. She so rarely gets to meet outsiders, and, well, she's heard all of your tales, and she's been a little infatuated by a man of your measure. Still, no excuse for her to act unladylike. And she just kind of her head bows down just a little bit.
No harm done. It.
Well, that does bring a question. You didn't take our offer before, and you have said and stated your reasons. Why the sudden need to meet with us now? We know you've been in the city for days now.
Well, as I said, we have been rather indisposed for a while and have been sorely missed out on some of the more recent events. We thought that one of your status would be quite knowledgeable in the current state of the world. If you do not mind me asking.
Well, interesting choice. Well, what is it that you need to ask? And something else that you also notice, Willow, is this whole time as everybody's been just kind of drinking their wine, well, sipping their wine, only your group has been, those asking for food, and others have been served food. None of the other guests, including the royal family, have been served any food. They've all been just sipping from their goblets.
Motherfucking vampires. The whole goddamn
Right.
castle.
We're
What
just
the fuck?
gonna, pop divine sense, since there's no outward detection.
It's all blood and shit in them goblets. I mean, who knows, man? All I know is this: certain things about this don't feel right, and Manor's drinking like a fucking.
Man is
Um,
just going crazy.
He don't even fucking.
What race do they appear to be?
Every single one of them is
Dude.
a high elf.
One of his flaws, brother. Don't put no
Alright.
alcohol in front of him in here or
Alright.
good food. He'll eat it all and drink it all up. It'll be. Like I said, top 3 things: milk and cookies, food and drink, and crushing heads. Those are like his favorite things.
Fair enough. Let me get this on. Where is? Here we go. There you go, Comey.
That's kind of what I was expecting.
Yeah, the entire castle, right? You're sensing hundreds or dozens of.
Oh, I can only detect out 60 feet.
That's why I
But,
changed it to dozens.
But you know what? That doesn't mean anything bad yet.
Yeah, dude.
That's concerning.
I'm dead.
You see Willow look a little concerned.
Campaign ends here. It's been fun, guys.
She's scooting a little closer to Ivy.
Who's just like, ooh, what's that? And she gets like roasted pheasant. They're like slowly just carving the little cut of meat and gently placing it on her little plate. And she's like, ooh, and she's like tasting it, and she puts a bite in her mouth. She's like, oh, it's so good. She's trying to like hide her excitement because it apparently it tastes really good.
Well, we were curious about the conditions of the war going on in Aurora. I'm sure as a neighbor, you've been keeping a close eye on the situation.
What neighbor you kind of cut off?
Since you're a neighbor to Aurora, I'm sure you've been keeping an eye on the war situation out.
Aurora. Well, for anyone else but Both, I would say only a fool would go to Aurora right now. If you wish to have a shortened lifespan, so be it. But I don't know if even Both would survive what is there now. I hope you didn't have family in Aurora. If you did, you have my condolences.
Well, that does lead me into another question. In our time, it seems the Stardew Company has gone under. I used to have a vested interest in them.
Well, then you... Sorry for your losses in your investment. After Esmeralda, and her, well, company fought firsthand in the defense of Aurora, not much wealth was known. She didn't make it out of the city when a few of its citizens left before the gates were closed. That is before the chains appeared before the blood god made his appearance. That damned creature he summoned. Kali, I think he called it. And then there was the...
Does it rip people's hearts out and set them on fire?
Did you actually say that in character?
No, that was very much not in character.
Okay. Then there's the former Highland military. Now, well, the general is now in control of his own military state. Vowed his allegiance to some dark queen. They called it the Black Queen. Has his own special military squad, calls them the Blood Angels. And then there's that roving fortress that they reside in and wage war from. That's what awaits you in Aurora. And now, recently, we have other uninvited guests to our realm. They feel it necessary to attack our city walls with powerful magics.
Well, I did have one other. Actually, Barth, maybe you should ask your question before I.
What question was that?
Zenosha?
Again, why would he know that? Why would he know anything about that? That's all I'm saying. It's like I get that, but why would he know anything about?
Because it's an untapped resource and it doesn't hurt to tap it.
Fair enough. Well, this may be a long shot, but when we were indisposed for the year, we were separated from one of our companions who was a citizen of Reldon here. A half-orc woman by the name of Zenosha. I doubt you know anything about her location, but if you did, any information you could provide would be helpful.
And the queen just kind of leans in towards the king and whispers something into his ear. So you ask another favor from this court. And as we've already been thankful for your contributions to our city and the lives that you've saved, I'm afraid I must ask a favor from you, Barth.
Ask and I shall do it, and I shall fulfill it to the best. If it is within my ability, I shall fulfill this request.
Ah, splendid. Well, considering your amazing achievements, your can-do attitude, but the strength that you've shown, Barth, what I ask and what I offer you is something that should not be taken lightly. And he gestures over to his youngest daughter, Barth. I would ask that you take my daughter Sana's hand in marriage.
Ooh.
Willow is looking for any kind of reaction out of the other people.
They just kind of all eyes are on Barth from the other guests. The young girl that used some sort of you know effect on him before. She stopped being kind of sullen a bit, and she's just very sheepishly looking towards Barth with a small smile on her face, just kind of like hoping for a positive reaction.
Meanwhile, I think Barth's brain is kind of shut down.
He's like, it's like, ah, guys, as you say, it is not a matter to be taken lightly. Might I have some time to uh, come to a decision, my lord?
And he kind of turns his head towards you and so Sana is not good enough for Barth.
No, that is not the. That is not what I meant. It's just a marriage is not something that should be entered into lightly, as you said.
Tell him
And
you're gay.
I mean, he'd probably have to prove it by making out with men here at this point.
What he means to say is that he is a deeply religious man, in servitude to the Archfey Newt. And while he would love to be able to say yes or no right now, that opinion has to be routed through her first. Please forgive the rudeness of it, but such is the fate of the divine.
Yes, it is as my companion speaks. If Newt were to give me her blessing, I would be glad to marry your daughter.
Is that so?
He just pulls out a cell phone and calls Newt, like, yo, what's up?
And he just kind of looks over the sauna and looks at Barth. Please. Stay the night in our lovely castle. We'd like to convene again tomorrow, more on this subject. And he just kind of smiles a bit, looking again towards Barth. I'm sure can find some way to communicate to the Archfey.
Should I mention that I could attempt?
No, be quiet. I
Nick
will-
slowly pulls out her veal.
No, I would humbly accept your hospitality.
Faith will reach a hand out towards Nyx, lowering the veal.
Oh god, I'm so fucked.
Before we recess for the night, there is one matter I do wish to bring to your attention.
Go on.
Along the trip of our journey, we found another oddity, an undead monstrosity being formed underneath a mountain far from here. Possibility of a necromancer manipulating all of this.
Hmm.
Has there been any word of a second Titan right?
Not that has been brought to my attention. Most of the conflict has been, well, focused on Aurora. It is a broken city.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Not Aurora being broken, but that there no second Titan or an undead army running rampant. And Will is just kind of looking for any sort of reaction out of
Make an insight check.
Oof, a 12.
He is not playing nice on being red. Just keeping in with the same motions as he's done before, taking a sip, wiping it. The court does the same. Servants replace the cloth. Literally every single time he takes a sip, he gets a brand new cloth.
Alright, I've got a great idea of what he is at this point. You know what? I respect it. This kind of neat.
Well, guests, I will take a leave. Please excuse absence.
Nyx raises her hand.
Eyes just kind of narrow towards your
no.
direction.
I'm a bard. Can I perform for you?
Another time, perhaps.
I'm really good.
Faithful will reach a hand out towards her. Not now, my child.
And the royal family begins to stand up. Princess Sana, who was sitting across from you, Barth, just slowly gets up and she gives you one last little look and kind of a sheepish smile, like very combination of shy but also excited as she tries to hide the emotion as she leaves with the rest of her family. And once the royal family leaves, the rest of the guests, almost in unison, stand up. They finish their goblets, dab their mouths, and the servants begin taking the goblets, and the guests begin to leave. Meanwhile, the rest of you are still being served food and drink as you desire.
Kind of creepy.
So, Barth, that earlier, were you nodding?
Sorry, you cut out there.
That earlier, were you nodding off?
I, I, I don't know. I almost feel like it almost feels like I was charmed or something. I'm not really sure. Just
Oh wait, were you thinking like really positive thoughts about her? Kind of like what happened to Remy?
Yeah, I guess you could say it like that. Although I don't know if it was necessarily as drastic as that. I wasn't I wasn't absolutely smitten. It's more of just the only thing I could think about was how beautiful she was.
Huh.
Ivy's kind of looking over. It's like, oh, I want to dress him in that. And the servant like goes to where
No,
she's
no, no.
pointing, and she, and she just kind of looks at you with a frown, like,
Well, Barth, good news. I don't think Mom's gonna approve. Unless, she's got one of those love transcending life and death. Oh no, she does.
Yeah, honestly I wouldn't put it past her just to approve just to spite me.
We
I can
can
always try and ask.
just pull the ripcord on this, and I can get us out of here.
That might be bad for Barth in the long run. So what I'm thinking is we wait until morning, we see how things turn out, and then we pull the ripcord to get out. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. Come in close. They're all undead.
Faith is gonna place a hand over Nyx's mouth so that she doesn't make a loud noise.
Oh,
It makes sense why they don't go out in the light. But undead doesn't mean they're. Oh, I mean it generally does.
Nyx is continually talking behind Faith's hand.
Nyx, my child.
But when they said, I think they'll be in favor. You'll be more in favor in the morning. Give me a sec. I need to consult my book of no, it's not in the long undead. No. Oh wait, this seems a bit like what's the name of this book? It's about a vampire and a werewolf both falling in love with the same girl.
Oh, have you heard
no.
of a book called Twilight?
No.
Oh no.
50 Shades
No.
of Grey.
There we go. Barth, I think they're vampire. I think they're werewolf.
Are werewolves undead? That doesn't seem right.
Okay, would I have to roll religion to know that werewolves are not undead and that these are in fact vampires? And can I add a history roll to that to look or think back and wonder, are there any stories about undead vampires in Relden being in charge?
Yes, and yes.
Are you making a roll?
Yes.
Take a
Making
D10.
2 rolls.
Take 2 D10s, one after the other.
Okay. We're just gonna add that D10 to that. Am I sure that these are vampires?
Well, you're sure that they're not werewolves. In terms of if they're vampires or not sure. You suspect, but you haven't seen enough behavior or enough evidence with that. But you suspect.
Hey, Barth, can I have some guidance? You whispering, oh fuck, into my ear?
Yeah, sure. He'll tap
You get
Finn
another
on the
D10.
He'll tap Faith on the forehead and mutter, "Don't summon trees indoors."
I rolled another fucking 16
So-
overall.
So, for the history, if there's any known things about, vampires or, ruling classes of vampires, things like that in Reldon, not that you can recall. The royal family doesn't really make public appearances very often, and the ones that do make it or have made outside have been at very specific events, like when they had that very special opera that was being played, where one was rumored to be in attendance a while back when you first came into Reldon. That was like a big deal. But none of you went to go kind of investigate or meet that family member. Or when one of them arrived at the vault, that was another really big deal. Outside of these very unique events, these rare occasions, nobody's really met too much of the royal family throughout the decades.
Noted.
And there hasn't been
Oh
any
boy.
suspicion of them being undead. They are high elves after all, too, so they also have, long lives being from their elven blood.
Well, Barth, Will was just gonna clap him on the shoulders. I believe in you.
That not very helpful, Willow.
Well, I'm not too worried. Come on, Ivy.
I can protect us tonight.
So, you each are brought to your varying rooms. Willow, I'm going to need you to make a persuasion check to see if you can convince them to keep you and Ivy in the same room.
We'll go ahead and pop her channel divinity. 22.
Very well. And they let Ivy stay in your room. It's one bed though. It's it's like a king size bed in there, but Barth has given his own extremely luxurious room. And the only thing that's, well, there's a lot of things that are technically suspicious, but when you're brought into your rooms, they close and lock the doors. Now you are brought things that you do have servants that come by and check on you every now and then. Usually there's a guard not too far behind, and you do hear the walking boots of the guards patrolling every now and then. Barth gets the most pampered treatment out of the group. His suite, the bed he has is like 2 king-size beds like mashed together, and it just like melts as he gets into it. Not only that, but there is a large area in the room that kind of sinks in, that it's like its own kind of brass built-in pool. Basically, it's like a built-in heated bath for Barth. And they have some servants that go in there and they offer Barth a bath.
Yeah, I guess he'd accept. He'd let them
Are we
draw back
like
for
in
him.
the same wing?
General vicinity for the most
This is
part.
bad shit, y'all. By the way,
But right now, Barth
we're
is getting
prisoners
the
of vampiric people.
Coming to America bath treatment, where he's got his own
I'm gonna.
people like scrubbing him down, like women and all that scrubbing him down.
I'm gonna wait like an hour, and then start teleporting to people's rooms.
Why did we come here again? Just because Barth had.
Well,
an
you can attempt to
invitation from
teleport to their
100
rooms.
years.
Now you've never been in all their rooms.
I've seen them though. We've walked down the hall.
You've walked down past rooms. You weren't there whenever. You weren't the last one put in your room, so you don't know where everybody's rooms are at in this place. So you were put into your room and you were closed the door, and that was it. You weren't like, oh well, this is where your friend's staying. This is where your friend's
Whose rooms have I seen?
We'll say you have seen Willow's room and Elodia's room.
God damn it.
I know how you feel. I'm sitting here thinking, man, why can't I be the one the vampire princess is trying to fuck?
Well, as soon as you kill a Titan in 5 seconds flat, you can have
Do I have
all
a
the princesses come after you.
Do I have a window?
No, the rooms do not have windows.
Call it a hunch. I don't think they like sunlight much here.
Boy, for once, Barth is actually glad he's physically incapable of sleeping.
Fine. As soon as I get into my room, I start ritual casting Find Familiar to change my owl into a rat.
Okay.
And rats can squeeze underneath like anything, like the size of a pencil.
Okay.
I'm going to use its senses, and I'm gonna have it look at everyone, get a visual on everyone's room.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a bardic inspiration as well.
Well, there's a issue with that. You remember how xenophobic and clean these people were? Going through the halls, make sure everything's dust free and all that fun stuff. You're gonna have a rat go down the halls.
The D10 was supposed to be for its stealth.
I didn't see a roll.
Well, I didn't roll it yet. That's why I said I give it the D10.
All right, go ahead.
Do you know a rat's bonus on stealth?
I can look it up here in just a
Stand by.
moment.
Oh, here it is.
Rat. Does not get any racial ability bonus. It has got a dexterity of 11, so that would be a +0.
That's really lame.
It's just a rat, man.
Yeah, it's tiny. I figured it'd get some kind of bonus to
Just
stealth.
facts,
Anyway.
ma'am.
Holy shit.
Luckily, they employ staff that are below average intelligence, who they're, a whole bunch of Forrest Gumps, so they don't perceive it. They have penalties to their.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm such a retard.
Well, so your rat goes squeezing out under the door, and as it does so, it starts to kind of scurry through the hall, and then you see one of the black armored guards sees it, and almost in a blinding flash, the
Impels it on the end of a spear.
crossbow, it harpoons it.
Okay.
Your rat takes 9 points of damage.
Well, I mean, it's a rat. It's dead.
Yeah, it's instantly dissipated.
And
So now they know
Yeah.
something's up because it disappears when it dies. In a puff of fur.
Oh, who fucking cares? They're stupid. I don't care. Um, I'm gonna teleport to roll dimension door to Willow's room.
Is the footlocker with the shit in the room with him, Dave? Minor or
no, that's like outside of the
Yeah, fuck
castle
that.
at the first guard gate.
fuck this place, man? Let me guess. We were not really given a choice to stay as guests or not. We were just told to. In that
It's
royal
what it
time.
was offered to you in a sense that he wouldn't take no as an answer.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So we're basically prisoners. That's great.
Well,
I'm telling
no,
you.
they strictly asked Barth. The rest of us could have just fucked off if we wanted to.
Later,
Their whole
Barth.
thing
Take care of
right now
yourself.
is
I'm
they
out.
want
Bye.
Barth.
Be good, Barth. Take it easy. I'm leaving. Say adios.
You know,
May Newt watch over you.
Don't worry, she will with fucking spectacles going, ah, yes, get molested by that vampire girl. Mmm. Followed by Sebastian, why are you over here with me? I'm doing my thing right now. Shoo, shoo.
Oh, Sebastian would not hang around Newt any time that he had a free moment. She was not at the joint at the hip for him. He would be off somewhere else. Newt is think of her as a clingy teenage girlfriend,
Bethel?
psychopath,
who has immense cosmic power? Yeah.
and impulse control problems.
Yep. That's yeah.
And the one person that used to be able to kind of keep her in line no longer can keep her in line because she's been separated from Newt for so long, which was her mother. Though I don't know if you'd want her mother being in control of cosmic power.
You know, honestly, I'd rather Newt. I'd rather have Newt than Nurksori. As much as Newt is, it's like I'd rather have Newt.
Yeah, Rurixor is the yeah. Yeah, she's the nuclear option. We don't want that. But so next you're going to teleport into Willow's room.
Yeah. I'm here. And it was a dimension door.
Hey, what you doing?
Well, I didn't see Barth's room, so I couldn't go there. And I didn't see Faith's room, so I couldn't go there. So I figured I'd come here and just make sure all three of us are safe during the night.
Well, why would we not? I mean, if they really wanted to harm us, they're kind of in charge of the entire city.
Yeah, but it's like they can do stuff while we sleep and stuff.
I mean, they could do stuff in our sleep if they drug us off to the Bastille, too.
It's fine. I have this. It's fine. And she'll pull out her book and start ritual casting a spell.
What spell is she working on?
Leomund's tiny hut.
That's going to create a lot of trouble. Please stop.
It'll keep us safe.
But we don't need it. If anything, it makes us look highly suspicious.
They're highly suspicious.
They're just undead. They've probably been that way since we got here the first.
Yeah, but you trust undead people?
I don't have any reason not to.
You're a crazy person. If you
Yeah,
don't want me to protect you,
exactly.
I'll just go back. Boop. And she's gone.
I don't have
Fucking
any
people.
reason not. I don't have any reason not to trust the undead, who are undead.
If they wanted to do something that they have the power and authority of already.
Yeah, dude, but
Yeah.
they have power and authority exactly. So they're twisted fucks probably who are going to wait as long as they can, let anticipation build, and then fuck us in the ass with no lube. So I don't like.
Well, Nyx is gonna resummon her owl over an hour and then put up Liamon's tiny hut in her room so she won't get fucked in the night.
Why
Guys, not everyone is out to get us.
Have
This
you
is-
played
yeah,
in
they
Dave's
just-
campaign?
I mean, that's true,
Yeah,
but
have you
Right-
been
right
for the
now,
playing?
most part,
Hey,
for the
hold
most
on.
part, unless your name is Barth, you're probably not gonna be turned into a vampire.
This
Your
is
name is
also
Barth,
true.
however.
However, those named Barth right now are getting deep tissue massages and
What are you talking
very
about?
thorough cleaning by very beautiful elven women.
You said that no, not everyone's out to get us. Have you been playing the same game we have?
Yeah, really.
You know?
Relvin has literally been the only place where we have been actually treated pretty well. The only thing that was really fucking us was the cloaks, and that was Imry's fault. Well, actually, kind of Willow's fault too, and Willow's fault,
It's always Willow's
which was Willow's fault.
You do know that I was arrested and then beaten
That was
senseless.
your fault, though.
I mean, they
Now,
were trying to
the way
pin
how
gang.
they
They were trying to
treat-
pin gang activity on me, but I was.
Yes,
just
well,
trying-
there's fucking gang wars going on, and you're in an illegal gambling pit where other gang members are at.
Hey,
It
I had no idea
sucks.
that was an. I had no idea that was an illegal gambling den. I
Oh,
don't know.
shut the fuck up!
But it all worked out for him because now he's a national hero.
But anyway, I mean,
I'm
shit on
probably
me
going to
if you
end up
want,
getting
but-
forced into marrying the princess.
Shit on me if you want, but Nyx isn't having anything happen to her in the middle of the night.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, with Barth not having the need to sleep, he is going to be the most thoroughly cleaned adventurer that the realm has ever seen. But for the rest of you, eventually you do go to sleep. And when you wake up is where we're going to continue our next session.
Yay. I want to say, if I survive and I'm not maimed or anything in some fashion, I am never going anywhere where I cannot have my shit ever again. I'm just putting that out there. So when you want to say we're going here, and they're gonna like, well, you can't have any weapons. Fuck you, Minir is not going. I
And that
don't
was
give a
always
fuck
an
what the
option.
reason is. It's not gonna happen ever again. I'm just letting y'all know that. So if you want me not to go, then take me places where I can't have shit to beat the fucking.
Or someone needs to smuggle them all up their ass. So
Yeah,
either way,
yeah. Other than me, because I'm not smuggling them all in my ass. So that's one point. And point number two, why the fuck do we even come here in the first place? This is a horrible idea on so many levels. But okay.
I don't remember why we were seeing the king.
We need information as to what's actually going on in the world, especially with the fact that there are 4 warring armies that we have
And we
no
needed to see
info
the
on.
king